Subscribe to my guy, Uncle D. Tell him Big Bass sent you.
Spurling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas, an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father, I have black sons. Hey man, I do what I do. My name is Dennis Spurling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas. My mandate is to be an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father, I have black sons, and I want to make sure that the issues confronting black men are defended, protected, enunciated, spoke upon by black men who have a vested interest in the black community. And so my draw to the black manosphere, or YouTube in general, to use my voice, my wisdom, my experience, was solely because black men weren't being heard. But they're hearing us now. They're hearing us as to our issues related to modern relationships, politics, education, finance, and so many other things. And I'm extremely proud of these gentlemen. I'm extremely proud of the people who put this together. It is a wonderful event, and I look forward to attending in the years to come. Hey man, I do what I do.
I say, here's my $250,000. I want this to air there. So I didn't have to kiss no butt. I know I wasn't. Damn sure ain't gonna put on the dress and wouldn't let my sons do it. If we don't own it, we don't have nothing to do with it. Either we're the shot callers, because we're not gonna be in, or we're not involved.
Dennis go back like 2 Chainz. He graduated law school, I graduated in the boot gang. In the courtroom, I'm Uncle Luke, man. Got me banned in America, they loot me like Lupe. On the cell block, call me Luke Cage. Dog man hero, he the new beige. Cause Joe Black ain't like my black. We built this motherfucking country off of our black.
No more money for you. You working. No more money for you. It's lazy, you lazy. You lazy!
Get the out of here. Shut the up.
You run your mouth, we lazy, where you top at? You got ops getting paid off of our tax. Black pressure, we created hip-hop, yes sir. How you bust a bus, had to dress up. Time to come to check up. Since we taking niggas, rude boy need to fess up. Don't call us when you tell us get the hiccups. Hold your nuts, fight back, the clean shit up. NBA hit them, rock and roll, jazz music, hip-hop rhythm. I cosplay like a rude boy, get them. Harriet, Rosa Parks, even Shirley Chisholm. Even Shirley Chisholm? I reckon Lineage, a runner, you love to kick it. We delineated, escaping niggas who wicked. My black is the black that they hate to see when we winning. Your black is the black that they bleach to look like the villain.
Here's a picture of what my skin used to look like.
Damn.
And this is what my skin looks like now.
Shut up, you stupid cunt. All you do is complain.
Your black nothing like my black. It's all my got my black. Harriet Tubman, train track. 400 years, still ain't got the chains back. Yo, black nothing like my black. Listen, King, Uncle T, you know the top black. Big Bass know the game, take you out back. Imitation me a right, you know my black.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
99 biggest promises Biden made to people, he's only following through on about 30% of them. One thing America doesn't forgive is weakness. They want to see you fighting for your goals. And on some key issues, Biden seems to be waving the white flag. He just looks weak, and I'm not talking about physically. People want to see their president going to the mat to get what he wants. And it doesn't help that anytime Biden does take a strong stand on something, his staff comes out to say he didn't mean it.
I'm up real early to fall for the same politics I flush and turn it. You talking ain't money, you need to burn it. Voting from the couch, watching Dennis and all the Spurlings. You with my earnings. How many times you gotta pull the same Democratic trick? Banana in the tailpipe. Since Obama like dreaming of eggplants and bananas, please tell him get his tail right. I need a friend that can stand on business. I can give a damn about all the race shit. If you scared, pick a grave and lie in it. Dealing with it, faced it. How the bottom of other countries come to where we live and elevated like tomorrow. But you ain't got no reparations for me, but got billions for immigrants to borrow. Soft genocide Chicago, them dirty ooze up in New York. Them race Raiders down in Texas and Memphis smoking us like a Newport. So swing games is a new sport. Deleting us through your politics. We playing ball on a new court. America, come out of it. Yo, black, nothing like my black. It's all my got my back. Harriet Tubman, train tracks. 400 years, still ain't got the chains back. Yo, black, nothing like my black. Lizard King, Uncle T, you know the top hat. Big Bass know the game, take you out back. Imitate Samir Rice, you know my black.
Just like a culture is like a computer program, there's a frequency by which things occur. And when you have a defective culture that is, and it's been like this since we were in the motherland, a divisive, argumentative, conflict-filled culture, there's always going to be opportunity for division unless you change the actual culture. Some of the brothers say you got to change the code, you got to change the actual culture. There are always going to be incidents that we can focus on to keep us divided.
I'm your king.
Black patriots fought and bled on the battlefields of the American Revolution, and they really did. When you read the history, what they gave up, they gave everything to smash the chains of slavery and preserve our nation, and they did it with incredible bravery. They helped win the Wild West, tamed the skies, and save freedom in the Second World War. They're warriors. From the very beginning, Black Americans have been a vital part of the American story, helping to make this the greatest nation in the history of the world. So true. Thank you. We thank you. We thank you for it. Black patriots fought and bled on the back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody who's
of
out
the
here
American
hanging
Revolution.
out with me.
And they really did. When you read the
Everybody
history, what they gave
in the
up.
chat room, big up to everybody wherever you're checking in from. This is our president, Donald Trump, giving a big shout out to Black Americans. Somebody type FBA in the chat room. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters who are here with me today. Somebody type FBA in the chat room. Somebody type FBA in the chat room so that I know that you are here. Tell me where your mama from. Everybody in the chat room, let me know where your mama from. I'm gonna go ahead and type Mississippi for mine. Somebody type where your mama from in the chat room and y'all answer. Call and response. Where your mama from? Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. Who else we got up in here? That's where you from. I know what my heritage is. Mississippi. Texas, East Texas. What else did I forget? Oklahoma. I said Arkansas, Tennessee. Shout out to everybody from Tennessee. Baltimore, Maryland. All throughout the Atlanta coast. Did I say North Carolina? Did I say Florida? Yeah, baby. So, what's up, you guys? My name is Dennis Spurling. I am a broadcaster. I've been here for years. One of the topics that I've been covering has been the delineation movement because it's quite legally related, especially now. And this is a movement that came about because there are so many people from other countries who are Black, and they are, although we share the same skin, we're not of the same culture. You know, a lot of them will tell us that we don't have culture. And I'm talking about Jamaicans, Trinidadian brothers and sisters, the Caribbean brothers and sisters, the African brothers and sisters. They'll straight up tell us we don't have culture. There's other things they say that they'll say things like we are, especially the African brothers, and say, well, there are katas, which is basically a bush cat, a lost cat, a cat without a home. So they've already delineated from us. They will tell you very loud and proud where they're from. They'll whip their flags out. And it is only recently that Black Americans have begun to delineate, not just online, because a lot of people said, oh, it's just online, those FBAs, they're a cult. But really, it's nothing more than a description. It's just, it denotes what your heritage is. Now, something fundamentally changed this week, and a lot of people missed it because they were distracted by who said it and what was said. But I'm gonna share this video with you so we can talk about it real quick. And some of you guys should probably already have heard this. There's a gentleman named Tucker Carlson, formerly of Fox, very popular white right-wing conservative, and he had this conversation. Listen in.
Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican.
Well, let me go ahead and type fair use in the chat room. Hold on a minute. Because I don't want to get zapped by Tucker Carlson, and he's talking about Byron. What's the man's name? Byron. He is a politician, I believe. I think the brother is married to a white woman or something like that, and he's from Jamaica or something like that. So I'm gonna let these folk finish, but I'm gonna play a little music in the background. So we don't get that good copyright strike. You understand me? I don't want that copyright strike. And again, we'll start this over and let it play. Y'all tell after we did the fighting. Okay, let's keep.
Of us are either immigrants or are the descendants of immigrants, and we understand that not everybody. There are Native Americans in, but we understand in this country. We understand.
No, Black Americans are American.
Yes,
they are not African.
Hello.
Black Americans are American, just like I am an American. I am not a European American.
Nope.
I have literally no connections to Europe at all. I am American, and so are Black Americans. Quit trying to divide people by the color of their skin.
I see somebody in the comment, brother, said they've been doing their research. No, brother, they've been listening to us. Every time I mention the word Donald Trump, they're listening to us. I can tell you absolutely, you can be absolutely certain that they're listening to us. From Ann Coulter to Tucker Carlson, they're listening to us. And they're taking the talking points. Let's keep listening to these folks.
And instead, let people identify as they please.
But what you are doing is really insidious because you are not a Black American. And that is different. And you should know that. And you probably do know that. I think it's really insidious what you're doing because I think you think that I don't know better. I think that you think that my understanding of racial politics in America means that I'm just going to take your word on it as a woman who is not a Black American over Black Americans because you are Black. And I'm sorry to tell you, you picked the wrong one.
That's over. That day is over. Shout out to all these white folks who are paying attention. Look here. As I say at all the time in my broadcast, you're going to learn something. I might piss you off. I might make you upset, but you're definitely going to learn something, and you are going to learn something. I'm going to try to coin this. I'm going to try to stick a pin in this moment for posterity so that people will understand. And I hope that if you do learn something, that I should earn something. Chat is available. You don't owe me anything. I do this because I want to educate the people. But at the end of the day, you should pay for quality. And I don't think there's anyone else on these YouTube streets that takes these very complicated issues and breaks them down like I do for people to understand. So shout out to Jeffrey Massey. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You're the first person to contribute. The Cash App is open. And the thing is, I have a whole Black economy based around my work. I have people who do my editing. I have people who create the music. You all know my man, Big Bass Life. So the more you contribute, the more Black people I'm able to educate. And you send them and pay in this, because like I said, I have my own economy. I'm getting close to 100,000 followers. I've been saying the same thing and doing the same thing. I'm me. You understand? I'm not going to change. I'm not going to flip the script. I'm not going to, I'm the same person I always been. A lot of people are just now catching up with what I've been saying and doing for a long time. You understand? But here's the thing, family. For the first time, one of the most influential right-wing platforms in America, you heard the term Foundational Black America on the FBA. It was spoken out loud. Shout out to Solo Dolo. Thank you, brother. And it was done without apology and without ridicule and without being framed as an extremist or divisive or fringe. And it wasn't by us, okay? It wasn't by Black people who folk like to ignore. It was done by somebody who shapes national politics, and that matters, okay? Because once people are named publicly, okay, they can't be unnamed. Once lineage is acknowledged, it can't be walked back. And once history is treated as specific, not symbolic, the era of racial collapsing starts to crack. The good brother, there's this term, flat blackness, okay? As if all Black people are equal. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson came up with this term, flat blackness. You understand? And at this point, basically what they've done is that era of racial collapsation is starting to crack. And in that exchange that you heard between Tucker Carlson and that other gentleman, something unprecedented happened. Lineage was treated as politically relevant, specifically our foundational Black American lineage. Immigration status, past and present, was treated as distinct from ancestral injury. That's what they did, man. You see? And slavery was discussed not as a floating metaphor for another or anyone with dark skin, but as a particular crime against a particular group of people. And that is the inflection point. Shout out to Fieldis B1X. See, here's the thing. For years, FBA Americans, Foundation of Black Americans, have said one simple thing, that you cannot represent an injury you did not inherit. See, you cannot claim a struggle that you didn't endure. You can't speak for people whose history you entered after the fact. And for saying that, we were called xenophobic. They've been calling us divisive. They call us sellouts. They call us every name except the correct name. But in that moment, when the conversation shifted, when Tucker Carlson said they're heritage Americans, that wasn't a compliment. It was an admission. It was an acknowledgement that Black Americans are not merely a racial category, but a foundational people rooted here longer than most white people, and with a distinct political and historical claim. And once heritage is acknowledged, everything else follows. Because see, heritage is what makes policy differentiations possible. Heritage is what makes reparative claims legible. Heritage is what makes representation accountable. And then came the line that really matters. The one that pulled the mask off the entire system, the introduction of the word tether. Somebody type tether in the chat room, because we're going to talk about it. Okay? Now, tether is not an insult. Some people may take it that way, but it's not. Tether is a mechanism. Okay? It describes what happens when someone attaches themselves to a historical struggle that they didn't inherit, and then draws moral authority from it, and then uses that authority to lecture and govern or displace the very people who paid the cost. That, family, is not unity. That is certainly not solidarity. That is nothing more than extraction. And here's the warning, because this is where we must be sober and strategic. This moment is a double-edged sword. On one hand, foundational Black Americans have crossed into the mainstream political recognition. The argument is no longer confined to our limited Black spaces. See? And it's no longer deniable. On the other hand, when powerful outsiders, and I do say outsiders because Tucker Carlson has not been a friend of black people, okay? But as they say, even a broke clock is right twice a day. When powerful outsiders begin using our language, it's never because they want it to serve our interests. It's because they want to control the frame. If we do not define what tether means, someone else will. And if we do not articulate what heritage requires, someone else will hollow it out. If we don't speak for ourselves, we will once again be spoken about. So understand this clearly. When even Tucker Carlson acknowledges foundational Black Americans as a distinct people, the debate is over. The only question left is this: who speaks for us and to what end? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, as always, I have plenty of videos to talk about because at this point, this is a very hot topic. And, you know, people have a lot to say about this, and I'm going to go ahead and let the people speak. And we're going to interpret the videos. I will do my best. As I tell you all the time, I'm going to talk over the videos. If they just say something outlandish, I'm going to say something. I got to say something, okay? I'm not just going to sit here and let these people talk and I not respond. I want you to listen to the sister. Go ahead, sister.
Because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting in their words that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery without a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Tariq Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but like they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years and the descendants of a lot of American slaves or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think that gives, I'll listen to you. Like you've got, you've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with this.
Right.
That's
Literally.
a fair perspective,
right.
I think.
And so it's good to actually see them call them out for that. That's actually cultural appropriation. Appropriating the struggle of slavery.
I totally agree.
And the struggle of slavery was real.
This is a very unexpected conversation. I was not expecting to hear anything about the Foundational Black American Society or anything FBA related on Tucker Carlson, of all people. I think it would be nice to be recognized as foundational Black American, in society. But I also kind of feel like when I'm just looking at Tucker Carlson's reaction to all of this, even though he said that he likes the foundational guys, I still feel like he felt a little bit uncomfortable. Like he seemed a little bit cringy when talking about this, like when talking about Black Americans and slavery and being here for 400 years. I don't know. Something about it just seemed a little off and a little bit, it just felt a little bit uncomfortable and cringe or something. I mean, while I'm glad that they're saying what they're saying, I think a lot of people are still very uncomfortable with the conversation of American slavery and Black Americans and being foundational. And because ultimately that conversation is going to lead to the fact that we are owed a lot in this country.
But let me show you what delineation looks like in real time. Okay, I want you all to see what it looks like in real time on national TV. Check this out right here. Hit the number 1 button.
Dylan Brooks, give him some love. He deserves it.
Yes.
And Fred Van Vliet, let's not forget him.
Unc, I need you to come with some more respect. Do you know where I'm from? Do you know my area?
Nigeria.
Well, that's true. That's the original area code. You ain't lying.
He always does that to me, too.
You ain't lying. You funny. Where I was born and raised, even though my blood, and I'm true than Nigerian here. Yes.
Dylan Brooks, give him.
So you heard that. She was about to sit up here and try to represent like she's from Houston, Texas, when in reality, she's from Nigeria. So that's in instantaneously, you lose all your credibility. You are trying to adopt or cosplay Black American. And my man said, "You from Nigeria? You're not from Third Ward. You're not from Fifth Ward. You just got here. You just got here in the 80s and 90s when your parents migrated here, ma'am." But that's what it looks like. So I mean, it just basically took her feet out from up under her. She lost all authority. You don't have enough heritage. You don't have enough understanding of the culture to sit up here and speak on it. Now, of course, as you can imagine, you got a lot of black folks from other countries really like kind of shook about this situation. You see what I mean? They like, you know, they're fighting against it tooth and nail. So I'm gonna let some of these videos run, and you guys, you know, I'm gonna give you the play-by-play as I do. But let's listen to them talk.
For the 2026 Tether of the Year.
From a different country. They in my comments talking about some go back to your country. We don't need your opinions. We don't need your opinions. Our people been fighting forever. No, y'all ain't did shit. My mother was actually part of the first integrated schools in Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah.
So here he is trying to say, well, you know, my mother integrated in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, my mama got here and integrated. But yeah, but you don't have the history. Your mother came here for a reason. She didn't have to come here, brother. She could have stayed in the country she was in. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. See, this is what Black Americans are trying to explain to y'all. Y'all came here for this. We were born and we had to fight. You all decided to come over here because you wanted to reap some of the benefits associated with the fight that was already going down. Let's keep listening.
Can I help you, sir?
All right, let's keep listening and move on to the next one. Let's see what else we got.
Where's your damn manager? That pink money.
Tether shit. Like, because I have had multiple ADOS, FBA.
And see, this young lady's tone is even just, what is this Tether shit? What if we said, what is this Nigerian shit? Or what is this Ghanaian shit? Or what is this Jamaican shit? You know, we tell you all the time, you black. You white folks see you as black. And y'all say, I have culture. And so now you disrespecting us. What is this Tether stuff? You see what I'm saying? So you're very dismissive of what we have going on in our delineation, but you want us to respect your flag. Let's keep listening.
Folks, in my comments saying tethers and like using it as an insult, and who made...
I mean, it's, again, like I said, it's not really an insult. It's really an adjective. It's just describing your condition. It's letting you know that people's perception of you. Okay, and I'm going into some detail exactly what a tether is. Okay, it's not just all immigrants, and I'll explain that in some detail later. But keep listening.
Made that up. Well, I'm assuming, I've never seen Us, but I do remember the tether is supposed to be like an evil twin, or like almost like an evil what's those things in vampire doppelganger. Evil doppelganger.
No, it's not even that, baby. You're not even him. You're over here tethered to our experience. You're over here reaping the benefit. You're basically cosplaying a Black American. Okay, if you were a twin, that'd be different. You are cosplaying a Black American. That's what you're doing.
But like, if somebody would please explain to me why the FBA ate those folks.
It's not FBA ate those folks. It's Black Americans. It's all of us delineating from all of you. That's what it is. You don't even have to call yourself a foundational Black American. If the shoe fits, wear it. If you can trace your roots back to a time before 1865, if you can trace your roots back to the slave plantations in North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, all the Atlantic coast, South, Texas, whatever. If your parents and great-great-great-grandparents' names were on the census back in 1860, then you are a foundational Black American. That is your lineage. Okay, it's just what it is. Okay, and if you can't, then you're not. Largely, that's largely it. But let's keep listening. But look how awkward. I want you to say, look how awkward this is. All this explaining that these folks having to do. All this explaining. They got to explain. What are you talking about? Oh my God, this is hilarious, right? First they laugh, then they get mad, then they fight you, then you win. Okay, and let me just say this. You folk from these other countries, you're not going to win this battle. You are going to lose. You are fighting against a group of people who are the only group of people who have managed to subdue white supremacy, racism in the heart of one of the most, in a country that was founded on racism. You are not going to win this battle. I'm just going to tell you now, all you immigrants, you are going to lose. You are going to lose bad. And if you don't fall in line, you're going to have to flee back to your country or somewhere else. That's what's happening. It's not, there's no win in this for you all. There's no win. There's only you being pushed out of the safety that foundational Black Americans provide. That's it. There's no win for you. Let's keep listening.
Using that as an insult, like, it just seems so simple-minded.
You're not using it as an insult, baby.
Okay, you're calling me a tether. Whoop-de-doo. Like,
yeah.
Or you're calling other people a tether. Whoop-de-doo. Oh my.
No, they calling you a tether, baby. They call you a tether. That's I don't use the word. I be trying to be neutral. You know, I just play the game, but Tucker Carlson said it. You got all these. I got to talk about it. That's in the politics now, and I'm gonna show you something later to let you know it's really happening. They starting to print forms, and they want people to delineate. We tired of paying for you foreign Blacks, whether you are talking about education, scholarships, or what. We're tired of it, especially considering that you all have not integrated into the Black community. You still whipping your flags out.
Yeah, you're so smart. What the hell? And it's like, me personally, I don't identify with the FBA 806. Like,
you're not supposed to, baby. You are not foundational Black American. That's why you shouldn't identify. I'm sorry. I apologize. All my critics, I'm gonna let her talk. I know you all say I talk too much. Okay.
I just feel like a lot of them are just very like xenophobic. And I think that it severely reduces any sort of valid points that they could bring up in conversation.
We don't want to talk to you all. Let me run this back by you again. We're not talking. We don't explain ourselves to white folks. What makes you think we would explain ourselves to a bunch of foreign Blacks who are over here? Half of you came here legally in the first. What makes you think we would even explain that to you all? You're not that important for us to explain to you. You don't have any money. You don't have any business. We don't need you. We never did need you. So I don't even understand why all these folks are still having these conversations with these folks like Frank Zane and all these. There's nothing to talk to them about. They have no power. Why are you all still talking to them about these conversations? See, there's a reason they don't invite me on these broadcasts, because I'm going to say, you're not even worthy of me having a conversation with. You have no power. You can do nothing for me. You can't help. I don't care about getting along with you. You in my country. I didn't ask you for anything. I don't want anything from you. You don't do business with me. I mean, what do you want? Why are y'all even still talking to these people? I'm just saying, family, especially about something like this. That's like you having a conversation with another man or woman about what's going on in your house. It doesn't matter what they think. But we're going to go ahead and let this young lady continue.
Right, because I do think it's helpful framing to identify that Black Americans descended from chattel slavery have like a unique sort of cultural experience within the U.S.
All of us didn't descend from chattel slavery, ma'am. 1/3 of Black people were free the whole time. Somebody type whole time in the chat room. There have been free Black people in this country since its inception. So not all of us were descendant of slaves. And that's another thing you folk need to understand. And not all of us are not all of us are African like you are. You all are 100% African. Most of us have a mixed heritage. We are uniquely American. We are foundational Black. We are our own ethnic group. Yes, we have African lineage. Yes, we have European lineage, Native American lineage, whatever you want to call it. We are a unique ethnic group. We've been here for half a millennia. That's 500 years. That's plenty of time. We had our own culture, our own ethnicity, our own diverse language, our own habits, our own worship ceremonies. We have our own ways of dealing with trauma, our own ways of dealing with emergencies. We have all sorts of extended family group, got our own diverse food group. So, you know, you got to get yourself together.
I think that is a very helpful conversation to have. They lose me with everything else. They lose me with everything else, right? Because it's like, ultimately, I sort of grew up in a Pan-Africanist type tradition around Pan-African,
all that,
like beliefs and like the belief in sort of like collective Black unity, shared liberation.
tethers, right? Because my tether radar, I might be the FBA with the strongest radar, right? I could just see them from a mile away. I could smell them niggas. And this is how you can always tell if a black person is a black American that's actually from here, or he's a tether. Just listen how they talk about black people. That's all you have to do is listen to how the tether or the person talks about black people, right?
Let me talk to y'all. So I want you all to listen to me, okay? I want you to listen to me. We got 555 people in this chat room. I want you to understand something. Now, I come from a long line of very successful black Americans, okay? I'm not like a lot of the other brothers. I'm that top 10%, okay? That's my daddy back there. If you look at him, his family's from North Carolina. That's my grandmother right there, Mississippi. That's where my mama's side of the family from. Culturally, I'm 100% black American, and I come from a long line of successful black people. We don't talk bad about black people in front of white folks. The elite black people, the same bougie black people that y'all talk bad about, some of y'all call them boule, we don't talk bad about black people in front of white people. We don't talk negatively about our own people in front of white folk because we know they will take that and run with it. That's how we are able to tell who we're dealing with. See, Oprah Winfrey is not an elite. That's why she had a whole series of shows for years dedicated to bad-mouthing black people. Elite level black people don't do that. Sisters like Felicia Rashad. And as a matter of fact, there's a book you all need to read. It's, what's the name of that book? Our Kind of People. Our Kind of People. It tells you about the black fraternities, the black sororities, their purpose. It talks to you about the cotillions, the botillions. Here's another thing. Elite black people. We don't marry white people. We have friends who are white. We do business with white people, but we do not marry white people. Now, that does not make me pro-black or anything like that. It does make me a race man. Somebody type race man in the chat room. These are the conversations that the elite black people have. See, a lot of the problem that we have is the unacculturated classes, masses of black people have had the top speaking positions for 50 or 60 years. And so you're not necessarily hearing from the black. Matter of fact, most of them won't even have a conversation with you. Okay? I will. And that has a lot to do with the fact that my particular upbringing. Okay? Yeah, my daddy was a lawyer. My mama was a school teacher. I'm a lawyer. My children are doing great for themselves. And so largely, I would not necessarily have conversations with the day-to-day black folk, but it's just in me. Uncle D love you. And I'm going to speak the truth to you. And when you get to talking reckless about my people, I'm just bold enough to speak the truth. But largely, those are two things that elite level black people don't follow. So when I hear black folk on the internet talking reckless about other black people in public, it tells me two things. They come from a poor, low-class, unacculturated black people where they have been taught, not taught to watch what they say because white folk will use that against them, or they're overly influenced by the immigrant culture, the black immigrant culture, because those folk talk bad about each other all the time. And I need you to understand that. So when this brother says, hey, when you listen to him, it's a lot of things going on. But look, don't take my word for it. Read the books, read your own history. I'm glad we're delineating. And I'm not saying there aren't Caribbean folk and African folk who've fallen in. And like when you look at Brother Malcolm X, you understand what Brother Malcolm X, his Betty Shabazz was an elite sister. You see what I'm saying? And it's not just because she was in a sorority, but that tells you a lot.
it tells you even those men were choosing women from elite families, and definitely Sister Coretta Scott King. Martin Luther King, no, he couldn't marry none of them white women, period. Because that's not how we're raised to do it. We don't do that. Why would I spend my time accumulating this wealth and this prestige and then just run off and marry some white woman and then basically she gets the money? That don't make sense. Does that make sense to you? Now, I don't have a problem with you marrying a woman from a different culture. If she's black, I don't have that problem. I'm just speaking to y'all. I just want you to understand what the elites come from. And you may call me a lot of different things, but it's not me. This is how we were raised. And it doesn't matter how light-skinned you are, because this is people that make me look like midnight. I got some folk with some blue veins around that I've seen before. Okay, but I just want y'all to understand that. Okay, so when I listen to these folk, I know them when I hear them. Okay, and it's the reason that they don't have me on these broadcasts, because I'm gonna give them a whole dose of what Black people who are in power, the elite, that top 10%, that top 20% of Black people really think. They never compare themselves with me or elite Blacks. They want to compare themselves with the entertainer, but they never compare our best, our elite, with their best. They always, the top 10% of these immigrant folk will run up, even the white folks. They'll take the poorest poor person with low class mannerisms and just unacculturated, and then they'll say, well, this person represents Black people, and that's just not true. Okay, but they always compare our lowest with their best, and that's not a fair comparison. When you compare the highest ranking, most educated, most well-to-do Black people, top 10%, we are blowing all of these minorities out of the water. The Indians just got rich. The Asians just got rich. When you compare them to what Black Americans have, they don't even, we got land, we got education, we have universities, we have churches, we have real estate. They don't stand a chance. Your income does not determine your total amount of wealth. But let's let this young brother finish speaking.
If they start to talk about Black people with no understanding, like that kid that Amanda Seals was debating on Jubilee, right? Smelled Tether from a mile away. All you got to do is give a Tether the microphone. He gonna hang himself. He's going to tell you where he's from. Put a camera in front of the nigga face, right? They're gonna hang themselves. I listen to how they talk about Black Americans, because let's use me for an example. When I talk about Black people, it's coming from a place of understanding, but I just don't agree, right? The ignorance, right? The bad behavior, right? It's a difference in how I talk about my own people, how a Tether talks about Black people. Tethers, literally, it's almost like listening to a white person. Yeah. Because white people don't understand us. They don't understand our history, our pain, nothing, right? I do. So when I talk about it, and I'm talking about ghetto people or niggas or whatever, it's coming from a place of understanding, but of course I don't agree. A Tether, they're going to talk about you like a dog. It's going to sound racist, right? And the reason why it sounds like that.
Let me talk, brother. You said take the top 10% of African country, and they'll run circles around the indigenous population. Black Americans in South Africa are multimillionaires, college-educated Black Americans. Brother, I think what you're trying to say is that the top 10% of in African countries. Let me explain something to you, brother, and I want you to understand this, and I'm talking to you from a place of love. You're not talking to other people. You're talking to me, okay? And I've already done all the research. And if you look back in the broadcast, I've explained that Black Americans have 1.7 million millionaires in the United States. Black Americans have 1.7 million, that's 1,700,000 millionaires in the United States. We have more Black millionaires in the 2% of the Black population in this country than the entire continent of Africa and all 54 of the countries. So what you're saying is just flat out inaccurate. Okay, we've done the research. I will break this down for you. The highest educated group of immigrants are African immigrants. The lowest paid group of immigrants are African immigrants. The average Black American top 10% makes well over $100,000 a year. The average African immigrant barely makes $100,000 a year. The average top 10% Caribbean makes somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000 a year. I spent a whole 4-hour broadcast breaking that down. You're not gonna win these arguments on the numbers. What you're saying doesn't even make sense. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the people that actually contributed to the super chat and the cash app, but I'm not the guy. Okay, I'm not the fella. I listen to you, but I'm not gonna let you sit up here and be wrong. You just gonna be wrong. You just gonna get proved wrong. Look through my broadcasts. I don't have a whole lot of them from last year, so this is easy to find. Okay, and I talk about these things, so folk can understand. Now let's look at this. What is a tether?
Tether is essentially a person who poses as a Black American. However, they are either a child of an immigrant or they are of African and or Caribbean descent. The problem arises is when they come into our community, use up our community, cosplay in our community. Because these people do not share the same lineage, because these people do not have the same history of Black Americans or the Black indigenous people, they tend to not have care in our community at all. These people are usually chosen as well in influential spaces, entertainment, that's political spaces, all of that.
They wouldn't let them in if they were carrying, they were actually, 4 other Black people in this country. They wouldn't even let them in.
It's literally by design, right? Problem is we don't know who is who because they present so well because you're just looking at skin color. Pay attention to the values that they're speaking on. It's never about Black Americans. It's always about their people. There was an example of a man, he got on the Breakfast Club. He was speaking on behalf of reparations for Black people. This man said we don't deserve reparations because then they would have to talk about Caribbeans and Africans getting reparations too. Only a tether would say some shit like that. To stop inviting everybody to the cookout, regardless if they skin tone look like ours or not. Melanated people is not Black American. You get what I'm saying?
I know just what you're saying. You are saying it, and we all saying it, and now everybody's hearing us saying, and we tired of saying it. But let's keep on listening to the folks, man. Let's keep listening.
This message is for my fellow foundational Black Americans. Are y'all tired yet?
Now, I'm going to point out something that's obvious. See, this sister is clearly very light-skinned, okay? But she is as foundational Black American as the darkest of dark skin, because it's not just about color. It's about your heritage. It's about your culture. This woman obviously she has mixed heritage, okay? And I'm not going to speculate as to which, but we can kind of put that together. But this is a foundational Black American Black woman. We come in a whole array of colors. So you can't just judge us by, you're not Black. You're not Black enough. We ain't Black. We are not. We are. Look, let me tell you something. Let me get in here real quick. Let me get here real tight. Okay. Shout out to S Center and let me tell you something. Are y'all listening to me? Because I look. We don't consider looking like Africans as a compliment. I know you all like to say, y'all ain't African. We know. And if you get the typical Black American woman, I'm just saying some sisters in here, if you tell them they look like an African woman, they're not going to take that as a compliment. Okay, I know that's, xenophobic. You a featurist. I'm just telling you what it is. We love ourselves. Black Americans we happy with how we look. We happy with our hairlines. Somebody type hairlines in the chat. We are happy with our hairlines. Okay, we are excited to wake up every day and have our hairlines. Okay, we are happy about that. Okay, we don't want your hairlines. I'm not disrespecting the African people. I know I love you. Okay, I love your food. It's very hot. I eat it, but we are happy about our hairlines. We don't want your hairline. We don't want to look like you. We like how we look. Matter of fact, you like how we look. That's why you imitate how we look so much. Okay, but I'm gonna let this sister finish. Somebody type hairline in the chat room. Okay, that's what we're gonna talk. I'm sorry about going off subject, but I wanted to speak on this, because it's not about light skin or dark skin. We have found that this woman could have a sister that's 10 shades darker than her, and they can have the same mother and father, and they come from the same family. That's how diverse our ethnic group is. We are foundational Black Americans. We are not Africans. We are our own group, Okay, let's keep listening.
Because you know, and I know that these illegals did not go to Martha Vineyard to make a life.
No, they didn't know that.
They came to our neighborhoods.
That's what they did.
And a lot of us got pushed out of our neighborhoods.
We
And if we didn't get pushed out, our rent went up. It's unaffordable for us.
Yeah, we got to get them out of here, baby.
Some of us is living in tent cities and in shelters now, while the newcomers fill up the affordable housing.
Ooh, tell it, sister, tell it.
Y'all tired yet?
We tired.
See, here's the thing. Right now, we got all these white liberals out here blocking progress. A lot of us, like, we sitting out, we just gonna sit back, we gonna see what happens. But these white liberals are coming down to our neighborhoods and blocking ICE from cleaning up.
Y'all need to sit down. All you white folks, you need to sit down. Y'all not helping the situation. Okay, let the sister finish.
Our neighborhoods and giving them back to us.
We don't want them back.
And then those white liberals, they go back to Martha's Vineyard.
They do. You're right.
They go back to their suburbs.
Straight back.
Are y'all tired yet? Because I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired too, baby.
I feel like going out here and blocking the people who are blocking the progress.
Don't get involved. I don't want them to mistake nothing.
I feel like going out here and getting up in the face of one of these little blue hair, white liberal women because I am sick and tired of them.
No, because ICE is passing out bullets. I want you to stay at home. Don't get involved in none of that. All right, stay home, but let's keep going.
Are y'all tired though?
Yeah.
Because I can't do it by myself.
No, we're going to stay home, baby. I'm going to stay home.
There has to come a point where we see that it benefits us, whether you like Trump or not. It benefits us to get our communities back as soon as possible.
Yes. America was better when it was just black and white. It was better before that Hart-Celler Act and they started letting all those immigrants in here in 1965. I'm just going to say it. Black folks and white folks have an understanding. That doesn't mean we always get along, okay? But you can give me a redneck hillbilly drinking a beer in the back of a pickup truck with a Confederate flag hanging on the front porch of his goddamn trailer home, and he and I will have more in common than some African immigrant from another country who just got here. We're going to speak the same language. We're going to worship the same God. We're going to love Jesus, barbecue, and beer. You understand me? So I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to be honest with you. All right. And most black Americans understand that too, because we have the same shared language, experience, the same country we've been living. It is what it is. I'm going to say it again. The country was better when it was just black Americans and white Americans before all these other folk came over here with their different cultural beliefs and understandings and just mashed everything up. Okay, and they start breaking boundaries and busting borders, and it just got weird. And it's been like that since all these folks started coming over here. Now, we like your food, okay, and there's always going to be brown people. There's always going to be room for the Latinos and the Mexicans because the Mexicans did move, the border moved, and the Mexicans were stuck here. Okay, we get that. But largely, it's just been a black and white country. And I'm just saying, okay, and we had an understanding. We didn't always get along. Black folks and white folk been fighting each other tooth and nail, but it was an understanding. I'm not saying we like each other all the time, but it was praise God. It was an understanding. Okay, let's keep listening.
Have you seen the videos with all the brothers talking about, you know what? Since Trump been out here, I done got more jobs. I got more opportunities. I'm a trucker and I got more hauls because they done rounded up all the illegal truckers and got them out of here. I got more construction jobs because they got them out of here. Are y'all ready to take back what we had and even more once we get all of the ones out of here who are tethered to us? Let me know.
Let them know. Let them know. She said a lot. It's really, a lot of these Democrats don't really understand that, brothers and sisters are not really feeling them like they used to. Okay. They don't get the fact that, these white, as she said, the white liberals hadn't quite caught up to the delineation movement. They still think, oh, I'm supporting black people, but we've delineated. You see, and all my black ain't your black. Just what the sister said. Now listen to this, and we're gonna move it along.
I believe for the rest of my life I'll be doing the Lord's work.
What, baby?
I'm gonna make sure no black person is a Democrat ever again. I hope you got enough common sense and critical thinking to understand what's going on right now. I'm about to give you all the facts. Every day I think I'm gonna come on here and tell you what these clowns have done to you. Can you just notice that they never got a solution for you and they always calling you a victim? That's number one. You always need Medicaid. You always need food stamps. You always need government assistance. Why? Why you can't need a job? Why you can't need an education? Why you can't need a better job? Why you can't need a house? Why you can't need a better car? Why you can't need better things than motherfucking government assistance?
Watch the language.
Lyndon Johnson said he gonna have these niggas voting for Democrats for the next 200.
You can't be out here cussing and saying MFs and N-words. It's a family-friendly broadcast, man. You got good teeth though, but I'm gonna let you talk. But you got to watch them MFs around here, okay? You gonna watch that filthy mouth. Yes, you gonna pretend like your meemaw's up in here. Your grandma's cooking greens and she hear you cussing. Okay, you on the phone, that little dial-up phone. She hears you. You watch your language. Proceed.
Years, because that's how goofy you is. They filibustered the Civil Rights Act. It was the last record they had in Congress. They took men out of your homes. They would rather than be homosexual than to be a man in a home raising a family. Do y'all not see this? They claim to be Christians, but do everything against God. Are y'all Christians? I do not understand what's happening.
I love Jesus. I'm gonna let you go ahead because your mouth is not being very Christian right now. Let's go ahead and get back to the Tether Nation telling us why we wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and let some more people tell us. Go ahead, sir. Let's see what you have to say, sir.
Over here being called the Tether by the FBAs and the ADOS. And FBA stands for Foundational Black Americans, and ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. Okay. They are here calling me a tether. Don't get me wrong. I do fit the description according to their description. All right.
It's really only one description, brother, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Parents were born and raised in Haiti, married in Haiti, immigrated to the United States where they had me. I'm a first-gen Haitian American. All right. So I welcome the tether label. All I ask is don't call me collect, don't call me a Democrat, and don't call me broke.
Don't call me collect. Don't call me a Democrat. Don't call me. You might not be a tether. If you're not out here faking like a black American,
means nothing.
And talking reckless, then you might not be a tether. Just because you're an immigrant doesn't mean you're a tether. Okay, brother. I'm just trying to help you. But somebody call him an anchor baby. Y'all wrong for that. Why y'all call this man an anchor baby? Why y'all call him an anchor baby? Don't call this man an anchor.
Wait, thank you. You know what I mean? Because that means nothing. Okay? It means nothing. All right? Your ADOS, FBA labels, it means nothing. And
it doesn't mean anything until the government begins to give you those forms where you have to explain that you're a Haitian and not a black American. That's when the delineations start really having an effect. You don't have a dog in this hunt. You just here. Okay, that's when it goes bad for you. But go ahead.
Democrats know that. They just keep dangling that title. They keep dangling.
It's not the Democrats that came up with that, brother. It's the regular black people in America who said, nah, it's enough of these folk. It's not the Democrats. They don't have the bandwidth to come up with this. Now, before we go too much further, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, man. I need everybody in here to hit the like button. I need you all to hit the like button right now. Okay, I need everybody to hit the like button. Okay, it's free. I know you hadn't got your check yet. I know the Somalians have taken all the welfare checks. And go ahead and hit that like button because that's free. All my free people, white people, black people. I know some secret white people up in here listening. You like to hear this stuff. You go back and tell, oh my God, there's this black guy. He's a lawyer. And those blacks are really going at it right now. They are really calling each other out. Okay, yeah, I know. So hit the like button. Okay, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the like button right now. Let's get it.
I be cracking myself.
Okay, you just laugh now.
I mean, they be rubbing that reparations all up in y'all faces, man. And y'all take it like good little rabbits. Like good
you clowning.
Little monkeys, right?
Oh, we monkeys now. Oh, the little Haitian Tether said we monkeys, bro? Why we gotta be monkeys? I mean, you got a man that's running your country named Barbecue, and you calling us monkeys? You got to go take care of home first. Why don't you go ahead? Why don't you ease on back down to Haiti and help out? How about that? You calling us you in our country calling us monkeys. Now, what if we all went to Haiti, right? Us Black Americans just took a little flight down to Haiti and just sat on the beach and called all the Haitians monkeys. That wouldn't be cool. You wouldn't tolerate that. That would be so disrespectful. But you all are so easy. It's so easy for you all to let these disrespectful comments come off your lips in our country, because all you're gonna do is just run back. Well, I'm black too. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not acceptable. And again, see, I'm not gonna sit up here and entertain that with you. You see, people like I will make sure you are not able to get a job. You see what I'm saying? I'll make sure you can't you're disrespectful. You're disrespectful, you're egotistical, and you're talking greasy. And this is a problem, family. This is the problem that we have. Now I'm gonna get this disrespectful young man up out of here, because see, this is the problem. We don't go to these folk countries talking reckless about them, disrespecting. This man is sitting in our country, just sat up here and told us he is not even a heritage American, a foundational Black American. He's a straight up first generation Haitian, and you calling us monkeys. That's not cool, man. And see, this is the problem that we have. And this is why we like, yeah, go ahead and put that ICE phone number up there and get these folk up out of here. We're tired of it. But let's keep listening. Y'all hit the number one button.
I'm fully Nigerian, but I'm also fully American. I'm a citizen. I grew up in Montgomery.
And this is the tether behavior we got to stay away from, ladies and gentlemen. This man is confused about his nationality. He calls himself Nigerian. He says he's African American, but Nigerian. He says he's a black man. Also said he's an American citizen, and you can't tell him no different. And then he immediately goes into tether mode. First thing he say, oh, Africans just be chilling. We mind our own business. We da-da-da-da. But you got on here preference it, saying we all got a kumbaya and all this shit, and we all look alike, and you are Black American, but then you start taking sides, and this is the discourse that we have. And that's why we just want to be left alone, left to our own vices, do our own thing, enjoy our own culture. Because when we do our own thing, we don't be worrying about nobody until somebody come peeping in.
Not at all.
Talking about what y'all doing in there. And then somebody always invite, come on to the cookout. We don't need none of that shit, though. We self-sufficient, and we doing our own thing over here. But we need to establish some type of line. You know what I mean? We got to establish our own thing, because it's way too many people getting on here throwing around the black word and the African American. It's getting out of hand. M-Town.
Yeah, my man is right. And it's not just the Black elite. It's the regular, everyday Black folks. This is not something the Democrats came up with. This is Black people speaking their mind on a subject that needs to be talked about, and now it's hitting the mainstream. Let's listen to a couple more of these broadcasts, and then we're gonna get into the meat of this. A couple more of these statements, and we're gonna get into the meat of this conversation. Y'all hit the number one button if you can hear me clearly. And also,
TikTok, how y'all doing? Check this out.
Like button.
That Air's a Great Britain dude. Now he did mention he's from the United States or lives in the United States.
Okay, he's kind of talking about an individual. I don't.
He was talking shit. You would think he's from Scotland or something. Change his voice.
I didn't have a clue what that is. So let's go to Urban Dictionary. Tether, T-E-T-H-E-R, Black person who moved from Africa or the Caribbean to the United States and pretends to be a Black American, native to the country. Often they take anti-Black, white supremacist viewpoints despite being black. Really?
Yeah.
U-term. Let me speak to my...
Yeah, telling us we don't have any culture, we ignorant, that we lazy, we don't want to work hard. All of that is white supremacy talking points. Telling us we're violent, even though you all come from some of the most violent countries in the world, whether it's Nigeria or Jamaica. Just violent, gang infested. We know what you're doing down there. All right, but you got the nerve to talk bad about us. Let's keep listening. Shout out to Council 4560. She said, my son loves listening to you. Shout out to your son. What's up, man? You need to go to sleep. You got school tomorrow. You can listen to me a little while longer. Let's keep listening.
Native to the country. Often they take anti-black, white supremacist viewpoints despite being black. Really? U-term. Let me speak to my West Indian people. Here you go. I don't know what they're talking about.
You didn't read it? You didn't read just what she said? And by the way, you can. I don't do this often, but if you want to come in, I'm gonna let you critics come in, and you can come on in here and talk to me for a little while. And the link is in the chat room. Let's listen to the lady.
Okay. Maybe because we say derogatory things about African Americans.
You do.
It sounds like we're doing white supremacist talking points.
You do.
But right now, in this Trump America, we interpret the FBA lingo and what they say to us as white supremacist talking.
Okay, so what you're saying is now it's inconvenient for us to clap back. Now that Trump has turned the heat up and he's trying to get y'all up out of here. And now you like, we can't. We know we were saying derogatory stuff about y'all, and that might have been white supremacists, but because Trump has turned the heat up on us like this, we need unity. We need to get our Pan-Africanism popping again. That's what this lady is saying. The fact that you came on these on your TikTok and you had something to say about this means what? It means that it hit that nerve, praise God. It means that it's something you thought that needed to be addressed. And you went viral, and now I'm talking about it. But let's keep listening.
And they want us all out of here, black and brown people.
No, they want you all up out of here. Did you not hear what Donald Trump said about foundational black Americans? Let me run this back to you again, because you might not have been here at the top of the broadcast. You might not have understood that they know, and we all know that there is a difference between us and you all. Let me let you hear what Trump has to say.
Black patriots fought and bled on the battlefields of the American Revolution.
Yes, we did.
And they really did. When you read the history, what they really gave up. They gave everything to smash the chains of slavery and preserve our nation. And they did it with incredible bravery.
We did.
They helped win the Wild West, tame the skies, and save freedom.
They helped win the Wild West, Buffalo Soldiers, tame the skies, Tuskegee Airmen. They're not talking about Jamaicans. They're not talking about Nigeria. Y'all wasn't even here. Okay, you wasn't here. You was doing whatever you was doing over there. He's talking about foundational black Americans, or as they like to call them on the conservative side, heritage Americans who are black. Okay,
In the Second World War, they're warriors.
From
the very beginning, black Americans have been a vital part of the American story.
Wouldn't it have been great if, God darn it, doggone it, Barack Obama had said these wonderful things about black people? It wouldn't have been great if our first so-called black president was, the tether president. Wouldn't it have been great if he had said these things about us? I think if we trace back when this delineation thing started, we'll all look back to the fact that it was Barack Obama, whose mama was from Kansas and whose daddy was from Kenya. And we said, you know what? All your black ain't like my black. I think that's why that whole Kamala Harris thing failed, because it's like, ma'am, you talking about washing collard greens in the bathtub. You are not us, ma'am. You are not us. You are an Indian lady cosplaying as a black American whose family's from Jamaica. I think when we look back in history, we're going to say, yeah, that's probably when our stomachs turn sour as to the Pan-African thing. But
helping to make this the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Yeah.
So true. Thank you. We thank you.
We thank you, sir. Thank you for acknowledging
Black patriots fought.
Thank you for respecting us enough to acknowledge us and say our names from the presidential pulpit. I don't give a damn what he does to the rest of you people. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, as long as Trump is doing right by my people, I don't give a damn I don't give a hot damn, as they say, what y'all having to deal with. I'm cool with it. You keep, I'm on your side. You keep doing what, because it's about time somebody acknowledge our contribution to this country. It's about damn time somebody realized and just bold or crazy enough to speak the truth. And I thank him for that. Whether you all like him or not, you can call him a racist all you want to. He might be. But I appreciate the fact that this president uses his time, and it's not the first time the man has done it. And you just a damn fool if you just don't want to acknowledge what you see with your eyes and hear with your ears. The man's all day he's sitting up there talking to us and giving shout outs to black people. I'm cool with it. I like it. You don't have to like it. I like it. Whatever you say about him, whatever you say, the man definitely gives us our shout outs. You know what I'm saying? Shit, he like you more than some of y'all baby mamas like you. But anyway, yeah, we're different people. But let me go ahead and move this thing along, family. I want to go ahead and push this along. I got one more play, and just to point out, it's not just the president, it's not just these right wingers. Everybody knows Black Americans. Even on site, these people can tell. Okay, listen to this.
The immigrant class think that we all look the same, or we all have the same energy. And they like to say, well, white people, they don't know the difference. Or they like to say, when the police see you, they all see black.
Are you a U.S. citizen? When you came, you were asking me if I am this one. So I'm not this one. You asked me my ID, and I show you my ID. I'm not this one we're looking for. So how so? Show me. Are you in this country legally?
No, I'm not illegally here.
Legally? Are you here legally?
I'm not illegally here.
Officer, we're gonna figure out who you are.
No,
no.
Excuse me.
James?
Yeah. Now, I want to point out something. There was a time.
He's not in this country legally. He's not in this state.
Yeah, I want you to understand something. A lot of these immigrants are told, oh, well, you're not Black American, you have an accent, and you're from another country, different culture. And they thought that was, was going to be their saving grace. They really thought that I'm just, I'm not a Black American. I haven't done anything wrong. And now that same thing that they use to separate themselves is causing for them to be targeted. You understand me? And that's what you see happening right now. I'm gonna let this sister play, and we're gonna go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty, to the monologue. She's got a lot to say.
And I've been seeing what's been going on with them fucking tethers.
Oh, Lord.
Why are y'all still talking to them? Why are y'all still listening to them? Anybody Black American, why are y'all talking to them people? Why? That girl really got up here and said, see, we told y'all y'all was next in Chicago. We told y'all. Detained. Black people get detained all the time. Detained, not deported. And then you didn't even tell the whole story of what happened. They raided an apartment building that had a whole bunch of Venezuelans and Venezuelan gang.
They got them out of there.
That's what they raided. So everybody in that motherfucker gonna get detained. Like, you didn't say that part. Because you wanted to fearmonger and talking about like, oh, we get off your high horse and y'all need the help with the fight. No, we still not. And them Black Americans, them FBA, them Solani people.
They
are released.
Shout out to council. 4, 5,
so what the fuck was told? Oh, and to the Native American motherfuckers too. Oh, they same thing.
That Samuel L.
Guess
Jackson
who didn't get deported?
Go ahead, baby.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. They dumped all them immigrants into them sanctuary cities. Because one day they knew they was going to do shit like this. And then it was just, the run-of-the-mill, same stuff they do to Black people anyway. We're going to come run up in y'all shit. We're going to detain y'all. We're going to do that. But we can't do nothing with Black people from America. We can't do nothing. So, cut that fear-mongering out. Black people stop listening to that. Nothing happened. Black people stuff, we have always been first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. What is y'all are next? We have been last. We have been every place. We ain't next. We always them. Them immigrants or them tethers, them first gen, second gen, your mama, your grandma immigrants, baby. Fight the good fight for y'all. We don't have to do that shit. We don't have to do that shit. We not putting no Nothing on the line. We told y'all we chilling. Just did what you needed to do when it came to voting. Now it's you're next.
You're next. Woo! Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Anyway, I'm having entirely too much fun. But the young lady made a point. There's no need to talk to these people. What we want? Why are we still giving them our energy?
So I'm just gonna say this because I feel like a lot of Black Americans want this to be said.
Say it.
So if you're still playing with tethers, meaning that if all of your videos are now becoming repetitive, where it's like, hey, this tether said this, and then you have like a whole talk piece with a bunch of tethers from the continent, and you're like, oh, well, us Black Americans, us FBA are trying to establish ourselves. So we're about to delineate from y'all too, because what you guys are not understanding and you guys are not making known about Black Americans is we don't negotiate with terrorists, for one.
Oh, Lord.
And two, we don't negotiate with anybody. We don't have to report to anybody about what we're doing. We don't have to keep educating people about what we're doing. They can refer to all of the videos that have been made. So you guys making all these videos and these whole like talk sessions with a bunch of tethers, and it's honestly getting kind of annoying and childish, because I understand that's how some of y'all get money, but now you guys are making the movement look kind of childish and catty, like how they do it at that continent. So what Black Americans do, we make our statements known and then we continue moving. That's why a lot of our videos, like, don't get me wrong, roast them. Don't get me wrong, roast them. But y'all having whole talking conversations with them. Oh, I thought you Black Americans are like I get tired, honestly, of scrolling and seeing Black Americans even dealing with people that don't even have the intellect to be dealt with. Like, you guys are literally talking to children. They're not trying to be educated. They're trying to mock you. They're not trying to be educated. They're just trying to get energy out of you. They have no future. They're literally getting cut off from all of the freebies they're getting. So there's nothing further to say to them. So now moving forward, Black Americans as a whole, we should be connecting with each other. Black Americans as a whole should be pushing the end of birthright citizenship, so that we don't get tethered to these tethers anymore, so we don't have to deal with them. Our energy should be going towards informing the population about what these tethers are doing. So instead of you guys sitting here having talk pieces with the tethers, have talk pieces about the tethers. Hey, talk about how they're affecting us by all the misinformation they're constantly parroting. Doesn't that sound like it's a targeted attack? Doesn't that sound like a smear campaign? Why are you guys talking to the NPCs? They're so broke they can't afford AI, so they have the brainless, clucking, musky tethers.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Doing all the NPC work for them, because that's the highest function.
I'm not gonna do that.
Black American had no culture. Black American. That's why they are being recruited for simple tasks around the world, like doing stuff like that. So what we need to do moving forward is we need to delineate from those conversations. Delineation means delineation. Delineation means delineating from any tether talk, tether tactics,
I'm gonna delineate
tether babbling,
from your conversation right now. I'm gonna delineate because I want to talk to my people. But thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Okay, because you let the lady okay. I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. My brother is looking like Black Jesus. Brother got that Black Jesus beard. But anyway, what we're gonna do right now, again, great points, great conversations. We got 800 some people in here. We got 858 people. Y'all ain't got nothing else better to do to listen to me. Y'all need to get ready for work. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this thing popping. Make sure you hit the like button. And subscribe to the channel. Yeah, that's what I need you to do. To subscribe to the damn channel so I can get 100,000 subscribers and sometime in the near future. You know what I'm saying? I want to put me a little plaque up on the wall behind me. But anyway, why in the heck are we talking about this? Well, if you go back to shout out to everybody in the replay. So you had Tucker Carlson on his podcast. The video has 4.1 million views, mostly white folks. Basically sit up there and first of all, acknowledge FBA. And secondly, refer to these Black immigrants as tethers. If you've noticed, I very rarely refer to Black immigrants as tethers because it's my perception that this is a derogatory word, and Uncle D tries not to be divisive unnecessarily, okay? But the fact that it is now entered into the lexicon means it's something that we just need to go ahead and deal with. Now, that we've established why this moment matters, we need to slow this down and define terms because confusion is the enemy of power, okay? Now, everybody is throwing around the word tether, okay? Spelled T-E-T-H-E-R, tether. But most people don't understand what it actually means. And if you don't define your terms, then somebody else will define them against you. So let's be precise, okay? What is a tether? Okay, a tether is not a race, all right? A tether is not a nationality. A tether is not, it's not even an immigrant by default. It's not like a synonymous word for immigrant. A tether is a behavioral and political role. A tether is a Black immigrant or descendant of immigrants, first generation, second generation, third generation, who attaches themselves to the historical struggle, the moral authority, and the political claims of foundational Black Americans without having inherited that history, paid its cost, or being accountable to its outcomes. In plain language, family, a tether plugs into our pain, stands on our shoulders, uses our history as credibility, and speaks over us, for us, or against us. Okay? And he does that often. They do it often on behalf of institutions or donors or corporations or political coalitions. And they don't serve the interests of foundational Black Americans. So a tether treats slavery like a costume. They use Jim Crow like talking points, and Black American history, they just use that like a rent-a-car. When they through with it and use it, it's not convenient anymore, they return it. And when accountability shows up, they're done with it, okay? That's a tether. And that's why that term matters. Now, again, I want you to understand something. Shout out to Urban5689. Thank you for the new membership. Look here, not all Black immigrants are tethers, okay? This is where the dishonesty usually starts. So let's cut it off early. Not all Black immigrants are tethers, not even close. There are African and Caribbean immigrants who mind their business, build their families, respect the historical specificity of Black Americans, and they don't claim our injuries as theirs. Okay? Okay? They don't speak for us. All right? They don't use our history as leverage. And they don't badmouth us to their family members. See, those people, or whoever else is listening, those people are not tethers. Okay? They're immigrants. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Every group of America other than us has immigrants. All right? The problem is not immigration. The problem is appropriation and substitution. And the problem begins when someone crosses the line from immigrant to representative without our consent, without lineage, and without accountability. See, now here's the part. Here's the part people don't want to say out loud, but it has to be said. All tethers are Black immigrants or descendants of Black immigrants. Okay, there's not one Black American or foundational Black American who's a tether. All right. So you do not see foundational Black Americans tethering themselves to Ghanaian history. You don't see us claiming Haitian revolutionaries as our ancestral trauma. You don't see us demanding political representation in Jamaica based on the Maroon history. Do you? Do you? Because we understand boundaries. We understand lineage, and we understand that history belongs to the people who lived it and passed it down. Tethering is a one-way phenomenon. And that alone should tell you something about the people who are tethers. Now, here's where this gets uncomfortable, but it's necessary also. And if y'all with me, hit the #1 button. I need to make sure you still in the house with me. All right? All right? Listen to me, okay? Now, if you take your butt to another country, right, and you start developing these foreign interests, right, and you no longer serve your people, right? If you have nothing to do with us, you carry water for globalism that displaces Black American families. You understand? You shame other Black people for desiring the specificity of our lineage, and the fact that we want policy clarity. You perform exaggerated immigrant talking points to gain elite approval. You speak against foundational Black American interests in exchange for access, money, or proximity. You acting like a tether, okay? You might be FBA, but you acting like a tether because you've detached yourself from your own people and reattach yourself to someone else's agenda, and history is not kind to those people. That boy, what's that young man got beat up in the boxing match? Andrew Tate. He and his family's actually, or his father's family's from the Carolinas somewhere, but he acting like a tether. Okay, we got other names for folk like that. See, you sell out. Okay, that's what we call it. There's some identity confusion going on also because, see, this is where the real damage happens. Some FBAs are not malicious. They just confused, okay? They grown up in media environment where Black Americans are erased, immigrant success stories are used as moral cudgels, and slavery is treated like ancient mythology, and the specificity is labeled divisive. So they start repeating language that isn't theirs. They start saying, we're all immigrants. Slavery was a long time ago. We must move on. You see, they start talking about everybody's struggle. That's not enlightenment. That's identity displacement. And they're sellouts. And the ones who know better but choose to access, they choose access over truth. That's exactly what they are. And here's another very tragic category. You got foundational Black Americans cosplaying Black immigrants, people who minimize slavery, who mock reparations, who speak like they just arrived. They perform detachment from their own history and pretend being global makes them smarter than their ancestors. That's not progress either. That's self-erasure. You don't gain status by denying who you are. You lose leverage, family. You see? And see, again, this conversation is not about hate. It's not about exclusion. It's not about a purity test. It's about clarity. Because clarity is how power works. If you can't define who you are, what happened to you, and what you're owed, then someone else will define it for you. And they will always define it cheaper. The moment the tether entered the moment the word tether entered the mainstream discourse, the clock started ticking. And now the question is not whether the term will be used. The question is who controls its meaning. And that's why this conversation has to happen. Right here, it needs to be clear and it needs to be had without apology. Look, now, let me be very clear because, I want you to understand something. These is not the first group of people that imitated us. I'm going to use the term, it might be past some of y'all's time. You might not know what I'm saying, but some of y'all will. I guess some people would consider it a derogatory term, but I'm gonna say it like this, man. I feel the same way about tethers as I do about wiggers. Yes, I said wiggers. Okay, and I need to be clear because people love to pretend they don't understand analogies when the analogy gets uncomfortable. I feel the same way about tethers as I feel about what used to be called wiggers. Not because they're the same people, because they perform the same function. A wigger is not someone who likes Black people. A wigger is someone who imitates Black people for style and credibility and a rebellion, really, or cultural capital, and without any loyalty to Black people when the calls show up. And history has already shown us how this movie ends. You keep inviting these folks to the cookout, and they keep absorbing your culture. Next thing you know, they twerking and Elvis pops up and they making all this money off our culture. And for decades, Black Americans have made The same mistake over and over again. We confuse imitation with allegiance. We think, oh, they like us. They dress like us. They listen to our music, so they must be with us. That's a fatal error. Look at the hippies in the 1960s. We wore our hair long as a symbol of rebellion and black power. They start wearing their hair long. They listened to our music. They listened to our they copied our style. They marched next to us when it was fashionable. They spoke the language of liberation, man, all power to the people, all that. And the moment it stopped benefiting them, they went right back to being right-wing Republicans, voting for Nixon, Reagan, and the same policies that gutted black communities. Why? Because they never were, they were never us. They were passing through us. Okay? A wigger is a cultural tether. They tether themselves to black culture when black culture is cool, rebellious, when it's profitable, or when it's disruptive, but they untether the moment it requires sacrifice, redistribution, accountability, or loyalty against that power structure that they benefit from. They borrow the aesthetic of our struggle without inheriting the risk. And once you understand that, the analogy becomes obvious. You see? And these modern day tethers do the same thing politically. Fast forward to right now. What's his name? Byron Donald. We were watching the version of this play out politically with certain black immigrants and the children of these immigrants who pretend to be just like us when it gives them access, but then they repeat right-wing MAGA talking points that actively undermine foundational black America. They speak with our accent. They quote our history selectively. They reference our leaders. They reference slavery abstractly, but then turn around and tell you slavery was a long time ago. Reparations are unrealistic. Black Americans need to stop complaining and work harder. They say stuff like immigration is the same as chattel slavery, or here's my favorite, colonialization is the same as chattel slavery. No, it's not. Everyone just needs to work harder. That's not a coincidence. That's role playing, family. You see, you need to pay attention to where the talking points come from. They're not coming from Black American communities. They're not from our historical institutions. They're not from our economic analysis. They're not from they come straight from these right-wing folk and these liberals and all these folk that don't even like us. They come from the libertarian donor class and anti-reparations think tanks and the social media influence who package conservatism and black aesthetics. Look at Nicki Minaj. This woman's, y'all loved her, right? I ain't bought one song yet, barely listened to one of her songs. She's from Trinidad. And now you see her over there with these right-wing talking points. And again, there's some things to be said. I agree with some of the conservative values, but black folks has always been socially conservative and fiscally conservative. Okay, but some of this extreme stuff, they need to mind their business. They have Byron Allen, Byron Donalds, and Nicki Minaj have nothing to do with foundational Black American reparations. Stay in your lane. You see? Okay? It's always the same with these people. They absolve the system and blame foundational Black Americans for what we've had to endure. And see, this is why FBAs instinctively recognize tethers, because we've seen this behavior before. It's just with different faces. A wigger, white person who wants to act black. Okay? A tether is a black person that wants to act like a Black American. Because look, it was white kids and dashikis who went home to vote for the Republican Party at the height of the Reagan era. And now it's Black immigrants who say we're all Black until it's time to talk about lineage and reparations and housing displacement and wealth extraction or political accountability. Then suddenly, right, why are you being divisive? You see? That's where they're coming from. So let me say this plainly. Someone pretending to be you is not the same as someone standing with you. Mimicry is cheap. Solidarity is expensive. And anyone who borrows Black American identity but refuses Black American responsibility is running the Wigger playbook, whether they're white, Black, immigrant, or native born. That's not hate. That's pattern recognition. See, foundational Black Americans need to stop. We're going to stop this confusion. Familiarity, okay, they're not loyal to us. They're familiar with us. They want representation without accountability. They share a skin tone, but they don't share our interests. Because every time we do, we end up carrying people who will not carry us back. And that's how our power was lost when these folks showed up. So when I say I feel the same way about Tethers as I do about Wiggers, what I'm really saying is this: I don't judge people on how well they imitate Blackness. I judge them by who they side with when power, money, and policy are on the line. See, history already taught us this lesson. And the only question now is whether we are going to finally learn it. Now, where did all this start? Because we even had these problems in the 1965. Before that. Remember how much Brother Kevin Samuels always talk about how many married Black people we had? All of that was before 1965. So what happened in 1965? Okay? But let me break some stuff down, and you're going to learn something. And like I say, if you learn something, I should earn something. If you learn something, I should earn something. And you're going to learn something real good. I'm going to bring this down so everybody can understand this. Now, we've defined tethers and explained how cultural and political imitation works. I did that. Now what we need to do is we need to have a talk about the policy event that made all of this possible, because none of this happened by accident. The turning point was something called the Hart-Celler Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. And if we don't talk about this honestly, about what that law did and who it affected most, we're going to keep arguing about symptoms instead of causes. Shout out to my man, Edward B. Cook. Here's the thing. Before 1965, the United States was 9% Black. There was only 50,000 Africans from the continent in this country. It was 9% Black. And only 50,000 were African. You had a couple of Caribbeans in there. You've always had Caribbeans back and forth, but it was a lot of mixed heritage because, the Caribbean was part of the colonies, and long story. You had less than 1% Asian. You had less than 3% what we call Mexican or Spanish or Latino. And so, it was just a black and white country at that time. But Black people gave white people so much hell with the civil rights movement. I mean, we gave these folks hell, man. So they had to let these immigrants in here to dilute that. They needed some people to come in here and dilute what we had going on. We were giving white folks hell. We was like a pit bull on a piece of beef jerky. We forced civil rights. We forced integration. We forced housing. You understand? We'd had a Black president by 1975 if we had been going on the rate we were going. And that was just too much. But so the Hart-Celler Act fundamentally changed the United States. Before 1965, immigration was limited to just European people. For the most part, you had to be European. You were not coming over here if you were from Africa, the Caribbean, Asia, or Latin America. They just wanted white people. Okay, you were not bringing your Black or brown behind over here. The immigration policy was overtly racist. Okay, why did they do this? They didn't start letting these folk in for humanitarian reasons. It was done for labor. It was done for political realignment. It was done for demographic restructuring. Okay, and here's the part people don't like to say out loud. The Hart-Celler was passed at the exact moment foundational Black Americans were demanding full enforcement of civil rights. That's timing. So they had to get some folk over here that they can manipulate. They had to replace these Blacks. Okay. And here's the cold part about it. They brought these Black immigrants in here and they brought them here with their problems. That's not a moral judgment. It's just a sociological reality. Every immigrant group brings their cultural norms. They bring their gender dynamics. They bring their class hierarchies. They bring their conflicts. African and Caribbean immigrants did not arrive as blank slates. They arrived with a patriarchal structure. They arrived with colorism up the wazoo, and they had an anti-Black American bias. All right? They had a deep distrust between men and women, shaped by colonialism and poverty. They had different family and marriage expectations. Shout out to everybody who's contributed. I'm going to get everybody. Shout out to Alabama, Clay. Shout out to Edwin Richardson. And see, here's where it's going to get real uncomfortable. This gender war that we dealing with, are we coming off the tail end of? Because I truly believe this Trump political environment and the economic environment has brought this gender war to an end game. People got to get along now if you want to eat. All right, but the gender war didn't originate with foundational Black Americans, and I dare anybody to tell me otherwise. This is where people look. The gender war exploded when? When did the immigrants start? When was it illegal for the immigrants to come over here from these countries? The Black gender war, 1965. When did the gender war explode in the 1990s? When did it exploded in the 1990s, the 1980s, and 1990s, about 15, 20 years after they got here. It didn't originate with foundational Black American culture. It was imported and it was amplified. Caribbean and African immigrant communities arrived with extremely adversarial gender dynamics. Those women get treated horribly in those Caribbean countries. There was a prime minister in Jamaica that said, y'all got to stop that. You got to stop beating our women down here. Look at the infidelity rate in Ghana right now. Look at the infidelity rate in Nigeria and Jamaica. They said they had to stop doing DNA tests because it was breaking up too many homes. This is right over there in Ghana right now. I think I got the article on my Facebook page. Jamaica, they have so many bastard children being born to women who are putting these children on other people's name. Other people, they got a name for it. They call it a jacket. They literally have a name for a child that a woman has lied and said belongs to one man when it belongs to another. The term jacket, like putting on the jacket. This is so embedded in their culture. So the women are trifling and the men are violent. And those things probably feed each other. So when I say they had an extremely adversarial gender dynamic, why do you think when those women come to this country, they start acting a fool? They start telling it. You had issues, and this is in Great Britain. Shout out to all my people in Great Britain. You had Nigerian women or African women who were calling the police on their husbands just to get them up out of there, a term called blue leashing. Okay, they were literally they were calling the police just to get them evicted, just to get them in trouble, just to get them out of there, just to beat them. This is what they're dealing with. The other thing is you have a high tolerance for male absenteeism paired with female hyper independence. And you got cultural narratives that frame men as unreliable and women as default providers. When have we ever not been able to rely on each other as a group of people? I'm talking about foundational Black America. Black men and Black women left slavery, walked around the South, bought our own families out of slavery. We've always been 100% dedicated to each other. So why did this gender war just pop up in the 1990s? Black women have always run the house. Black women have always run the yard. When did Black men, when we start beefing about Black women being independent, they always been independent. When have Black American women not have been independent? It's always been Big Mama's house. Even Granddaddy paid for everything. You know what time you're gonna eat, you know what you're gonna eat. You better go and pick them collard greens or you're gonna be picking a switch after that. We know who ran the house. So what's going on is these immigrants came up here, these Africans and these Caribbeans came up here, and those narratives merged with the welfare state incentives and the media amplification and the academic feminism. And suddenly Black American men who had just survived Jim Crow and mass incarceration were being told that we're the problem, using frameworks that didn't originate in our history. At the time when most of these folk came here in 1965, the majority of black men were married. We had the highest marriage rate by 1955. So you telling me 10 years later that whole script flipped? No, what you had was a bunch of people coming up here with their own notions and their own issues, and it merged with ours, and we didn't delineate. None of this is accidental. It's a collision. Now look at the timeline. Hart-Celler passes in 1965. Immigration accelerates through the 1970s and 1980s. By the 1990s, Black American family structures collapse rapidly. This is where we see the gender war goes mainstream, marriage rates falls off a cliff, out of birth birth rates spark. It hits a spike. If you go to some of these, and none of them women in those countries married, and that includes South America. We always talking about the out of wedlock birth rate here in the United States, and them passport bros that tell you the truth. I was down there. I ain't met one of them that didn't have a kid. All of them have a kid. Some of them got kids by a man who got a whole other family. This was normal. You understand? Same things going on in the Caribbean. Same thing going on in that. They pushing kids out. Ain't nobody getting married. Culture my ass. See, the mutual distrust that they had in their culture replaced collective survival that we had in ours. And no, you can't explain that only through slavery, because slavery had already been survived. We did that. What changed was cultural dilution without consent. Let's be clear and let's be precise. Foundational Black Americans had the highest rate of marriage during Jim Crow. We survived Jim Crow. We married during segregation. We married under that terror. We married while we were in poverty. And so when people say this is just the legacy of slavery, that's lazy analysis. What changed was policy and media narratives and economic restructuring, and imported Black people from other places with their own cultural norms. Somebody say they can't hear me. Y'all can't hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you all hear me clearly? Somebody's saying they can't hear me. Hit the number 1 button. Can you hear me? Somebody said, I thought I was being heard very clearly. Can you guys hear me? Hit the number 1 button if you can hear me. All right, we good. Y'all don't be putting that misinformation in the chat. All right, but anyway, so what I'm saying is, family, once Black Americans were racially collapsed with these Black immigrant population, and once these elite institutions stopped distinguishing lineage, family norms fractured, and fractured families are easier to manage. Okay? And there's a reason why this is never framed honestly. See, this conversation is avoided because it disrupts too many narratives all at once. It challenges the liberal moralism. It challenges the conservative tokenism. It challenges that BS Pan-African Black mythology, and it damn show it poops all over this immigrant exceptionalism. And if you admit that the Hart-Celler Act reshaped Black America without Black American consent, then you have to admit that the demographic engineering is real, that the cultural collision has consequences, and that foundational Black Americans absorbed the costs that were not theirs, that weren't ours. Okay, and that's why the conversation is always shut down. There's angry people right now that's gonna listen to this. Shout out to everybody on the replay. Okay, now let me be clear I want to be crystal clear. Okay, I'm not anti-immigrant, I'm pro-truth. I'm not here to demonize immigrants. This is about acknowledging the impact that you've had. Every policy has winners and losers. The Hart-Celler Immigration Act, it produced winners and it produced losers. Foundational Black Americans were never asked if we wanted to be absorb all these Black immigrants that y'all was sending over here. But we had to. Okay? Now, I want to bring this thing back full circle. Tethers only exist because the hard seller erased boundaries. And when lineage is erased, accountability disappears, representation gets hijacked, history becomes symbolic instead of specific. And once that happens, anyone can plug in the Black American suffering and speak for us. And see, that's the real legacy of the Hard Seller Immigration Act on Black America. It's not diversity, it's not inclusion, it's displacement without acknowledgement. And what you see happening right now is they're trying to fix that broken system. We got to stop lying about when it was broke and why. We can't heal our community by pretending every wound came from the same source. This Immigration Act was a turning point. It gave rise to the gender war. It gave rise to family collapse and the consequences. And the tethers are a byproduct. That's not hate, family. That's history. Now, I want to share with you guys something. I want y'all to check this out. Make sure you hit the number 1 button. Are y'all with me? Hey, man, we having a real conversation over here about this, man. It's hitting hard. I like it. And if you're learning something, make sure you do what you got to do. Number 1, acknowledge the fact that you like this by hitting the like button. And then if you like what I do over here, then hit the subscribe button. Okay? I want you all to look at this. All right. This is an app. This is a recent application for FAFSA. All right. This is what college students would fill out when they're going to college in the financial aid. All right. You have to do it for the most part. It said, what is the student's race and ethnicity? Select all that apply, enter additional details in the spaces below. You have American Indian or Native Alaska Native, you have Asian. And then where it says Black American, I want you to look at what it says specifically. Look at that. It says African American, which donates who? That's us as of right now. Okay? It says Jamaican. Oh, Lord, it says Haitian, it says Nigerian, it says Ethiopian, it says Somali. You understand? Other Black or African American enter, for example, Trinidadian, Tobago, and Ghanaian, Congolese. You see what it's doing there? It's making you, it's delineation in the federal government. It's making you explain yourself. Shout out to Ballistic. Thank you so much. Now, this is going to have a major effect. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let me take a quick break, actually. Y'all hit the number 1 button. I'm going to be right back because I want to break this down. Family, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Okay. And the other thing that's very important that I haven't said, make sure if you have been involved in a car accident, y'all make sure y'all hit Uncle D up. You can call me at my office at 713-229-0770. I would love to be able to help you with motor vehicle accident if you or your family members were injured. But in the meantime, what I want you to do is kick back for a minute, and I'm going to play this little break real quick, and I will be right back. Y'all don't run off. Come back. Don't run away. It's time for you to go to the bathroom. Take a little break. I know, you need a little break. You got to go to the bathroom. You've been listening for all you truck drivers. I need you shift in the seat. Okay, all my people who are working. I'll be right back. What's up? Welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D. People wash their ass in the tub, Kamala Harris.
You were tuned in to Uncle D. D's Black Man Talk. Pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something, then you earn something. Let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. There's a king here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Turn it Spurling, this ain't Furling, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shootin', give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Molly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, voting earns. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you've been served, gotta notice. Now, black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I'll do what I do.
Somebody need to whip your ass.
Get up and whip him, Sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Floby and cut your own damn hair from now on.
All right. Welcome back to the broadcast. So let's get right back into it. Welcome back. So again, like I said, I want to get right back into this because I want you guys to make sure you learn something, because that's my job, to make sure that my folks learn something. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Can you guys see this screen? Is that helpful if I increase the size on it? Can you guys see that? See what it says there? Okay. This is a FAFSA application. All right, it's what students use to apply for student loans. All right, and this image is a race ethnicity data collection screen, and it's specifically, as I said, it's the FAFSA, or free application for federal student aid, and the demographics section, or the FAFSA aligned federal education form, is showing a disaggregated Black category. Disaggregated. And I want to break that down clearly and precisely. What you're looking at, this is not some random graphic. It's not symbolic. It reflects real federal administration, reflects a real administrative shift in how the federal government and the federally funded institutions are categorizing Black applicants. Okay. And the key feature here is Black or African American is selected. Under that umbrella, the form then forces sub-identification: African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Nigerian, Ethiopian, Somalian, and then you got other like Ghanaian, Trinidadian, and this racial disaggregation. I guess I should say what this means in plain language is the government is no longer treating Black people as a single, undifferentiated group for the purposes of data policy and resource allocation. Instead, it's separating foundational Black Americans, or at this time, somebody said, your screen is black. You guys can't see my screen? Y'all can't see that? Somebody say they can't see it. Oh, Lord, let me get this together. Let me try this again. Okay, can you see it now? Let me see. How about, can you see it now, guys? Can y'all see that now? Huh? Can you see it? Let me see. Let me try this one. Let me see here. Oh, I see what happened. Let me check on that. Hold on. I want you guys to make sure y'all can see it. Somebody said they couldn't see the screen, so I had to change this up. Let me know if you guys can see this FAFSA screen now. Can you see it now? Is that clear now? Can you look at it? Somebody say they just playing with you, Uncle D. Well, you know, you ain't got time for all that playing. Uncle D ain't gonna be in here forever talking to y'all about these things. At some point, I'm gonna ease on out here and go into my full retirement mode. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna be all the way up out of here. Y'all go like, what happened to that Dennis Spurling? But yeah, so let me know if that's clear. Can you see it now? Okay, it's clear. All right, cool. Thank you so much. So again, what is racial disaggregation and what does that mean in plain language? Like I said, the government is no longer treating us all as Black. They're differentiating between the different groups, foundational Black American or African American, and they're treating us different from Black Americans and their descendants. And this is not accidental. We did this, okay? It's the drumbeat that we've been keeping up for the past 10, 15 years. And in this administrative infrastructure, why is this happening, okay? You got three forces converging. You got civil rights, law pressure. After students for fair admissions to Howard institution, they're under pressure. Remember, they did away with race-based programs, right? We want to know who benefits from it. We want to avoid this blanket racial classification. See, disaggregation allows them to say, hey, we're not giving benefits to black people. We're targeting specific subgroups. All right. The federal government already knows this. A growing percentage of black students are first or second generation immigrants. Harvard had a program where they specifically said it's easy to deal with these first, second generation immigrants to deal with those black Americans. They don't have the cultural baggage. They don't have to deal with us. Like they deal with black immigrants differently than they didn't deal with us. You see? So they want clean data. They want it, and the data precedes the policy. See, FAFSA is not just a financial aid form. It is a data intake pipeline used by the Department of Education and is shared across federal and state agencies. It's used to shape grants, scholarships, compliance reporting. And if it's not on FAFSA, if it's on FAFSA, then it's going to appear on other educational forms. It's going to appear in research data sets. It's going to determine your program eligibility. And the caption at the top of the lineage is going to be added to even more federal forms this year. It's directionally correct, even if some of you are alarmed by it. You understand? What the government is doing now is it's formally distinguishing between foundational black Americans and black immigrants, whether they be from Africa or the Caribbean. And that means that pan-African or pan-black racial collapsing is administratively over. You can't steal from us anymore. When you go to Howard University, you will go there and you will see that the vast majority of the people in the pre-medical program a couple of years ago were all non-foundational black, specifically they were Africans. You see? And so now you have this distinction baked in the federal system, and the fight is no longer whether the distinction exists. The fight is how it will be used. And why this matters for the tether conversation. Okay, because this image is the bureaucratic version of what Tucker Carlson just said out loud. Lineage is now relevant, family. Immigration history is now relevant. Slavery is no longer being treated as a transferable metaphor. In other words, the paperwork is catching up to the politics. You see? You understand? Now, what we need to do as foundational black Americans, you got to understand, if we don't organize, if we don't define ourselves, if we don't advocate for lineage-based remedies, then this aggregation can be used to redirect resources away from foundational black Americans. They'll argue that black success disproves FBA claims because we are a very successful people. Like I told you all, we are the richest group of black people in America. And if you take them poor immigrants out of there, we get even richer. You see? They'll use immigrant outcomes to neutralize reparations and civil rights enforcement. So we need to be mindful of what's going on. You understand? But the bottom line is we're quietly reconstructing how black is defined in policy. And this is not theory anymore. This is infrastructure. Now, family, I want you to listen to me. Okay? What happens when the paperwork changes? When the federal government wants a specific race description? See, up to this point, a lot of people have treated this conversation like it was theoretical. Okay, it's just an outline. It's just something you black America, you FBAs are talking about, you cult group of FBAs are talking about on the internet. But see, it just got real. Okay, it just got real in a major way because the federal government changes how it describes race on its forms. The argument is no longer cultural, it's administrative. Shout out to Yaya Kids. Thank you so much, baby, for giving out those gifts, and her little granddaughter, I gave her little granddaughter some money for, you get that baby you give her those toys I wanted you to give her for Christmas. I gave her some little Christmas gift. Shout out to your granddaughter. I hope you gave her those, bought her those toys at Uncle D / Santa Claus. Santa D gave us some money to get. That'd be cool. I hope you did that. But Uncle D love the kids. But anyway, see, administration is where the power is. And when you saw that FAFSA screen, you saw it. That's not symbolism, that's infrastructure. And what delineation actually means in practice, delineation means that the government is no longer saying black is black, it's saying, what kind of black are you? Okay? And once that question is asked formally on federal forms, everything that used to hide behind racial ambiguity loses cover. No more vibes, no more optics, no more collapsings, just categories, data, and outcomes. Look, what does this mean? What this means, let me just say this straight up. It means no more scholarships, no more set-asides, no more hiding. Okay, let's start with the education money. For decades, you had these race-based scholarships and fellowships and set-asides that function on aggregation. Institutions could say, this benefits black students, okay? But now once race is disaggregated, they'll have to answer the question, well, what kind of black students does it benefit? Okay, what based on what history? Because you can't say you got black students, where are they from? What's their history? What harm is it addressing from their particular history? Because it's not the American taxpayers' responsibility to correct harms perpetuated on somebody from Jamaica because of colonialism. See, everything changes because when outcomes are separated, it becomes impossible to justify giving slavery level remedies and resources or Jim Crow remediation or civil rights based benefits to people who just got here, who didn't even inherit those injuries. That doesn't mean immigrants don't deserve opportunity. It means they will no longer be able to stand in front of Black Americans or hide behind us. The hiding is over. And let's talk about culture, because this is where people get defenses. For years, Hollywood and Broadway and these streaming platforms have treated black as a costume. They've treated it as an aesthetic, as an accent, as a hairstyle, as a skin tone. So you end up with non-foundational Black Americans repeatedly cast to portray Black Americans and historical experiences and dialects and cultural roles, and while claiming representation. You had a black African man play Martin Luther King, and you had a African woman play Harriet Tubman. And see, that only worked because lineage was ignored. Once delineation becomes normal, once even the federal government distinguishes between African American, foundational Black American, African and Caribbean, or immigrants, the audience starts asking questions Hollywood doesn't want to answer. Questions like, where are the Black American stories? And why are these stories not being told by Black Americans? Cynthia Erivo is not a Black American woman. Why is slavery being portrayed by people whose families were not enslaved here? And on top of that, their ancestors participated in the slave trade, and that they sold Black people from Africa as Africans into the slave trade. The woman who was a vice president of Essence Festival, come to find out she's descended from African slaveholders. Why would you have her in charge of Essence Festival? We as foundational Black Americans find that distasteful. Why is our trauma being treated as though it is interchangeable? And see, it's not about talent, it's about authenticity and ownership. Black folk are not really going to be trying to go to see movies about Black people that have foreign Black people portraying those roles. See, the whole cosplay thing only works when no one checks the tag. Now the tag is being checked. Made in what? Made in Nigeria, made in Ghana, made in Jamaica, made in Trinidad. We good. And we got a lot of comedians out there. Shout out to all the African and Caribbean comedians. You need to speak up. Y'all funny people. We like your comedy, but you're not foundational Black American. And that's something that needs to be said. So you shouldn't be up there talking about Black American experiences when that's not you. See, a lot of these folk, and I bring the comedians up very specifically because a lot of these people built their careers mocking Black Americans. And we didn't even know they weren't Black American in that sense. And we laughed right along with them, but come to find out they were laughing at us. They downplayed slavery, a lot of these people. They blame Black men. They repeat these far right-wing talking points and these far left-wing talking points. They promoted a lot of this odd sexual behavior in their comedy while hiding behind the phrase, I'm Black too. And see, Delineation removes that shield. They don't like that. Ooh, they do not like that. Did you see that little broadcast when the lady, the little Nigerian woman? Let me play this one more time so y'all can see it happening in live action. I want you to see somebody getting called out in live action. Hit the #1 button.
Dylan Brooks, give him some love. He deserves it. Yes. And Fred Van Vliet, let's not forget him. Let's not forget him.
Unc, I need you to come with some more respect. Do you know where I'm from? Do you know my area?
Nigeria.
Well, that's true. That's the original area code. You ain't lying.
He always
You ain't
does that
lying.
to me, too.
You ain't lying.
You ain't
You're funny. Where I was born and raised, even though my blood, and I'm from the Nigerian here. Yes.
Dylan Brooks, give him some.
She was trying to say she was from Houston, Texas, and they called out, Unc, I'm not your Unc. You from Nigeria. you not like us. I mean, look, it's a beautiful sister. Shout out to her. But that's not, they're going to have to change the get down. You understand? People going to say, you're not even Black American. Why are you talking bad about Black America? See, again, there's a comedian right here in Houston who's actually suffered from the fact he had this whole immigrant thing going, and people start saying, family, you're not even Black Americans. People stop showing up to his shows. See, Delineation removes that shield because when audience understand the difference between foundational Black American grievance and an immigrant perspective, the tolerance for punching down on us is going to disappear. Suddenly, them jokes don't land like they used to. Suddenly, just telling the truth, routine sounds like an outsider lecturing the injured people. Suddenly, people ask, why are you speaking on this at all, dog? And when the question takes hold, tours just dry up. Invitations stop. Panels disappear. Did you hear what happened to that African performer, Burna Boy? You had that young lady who just lost her baby daddy. This fool didn't come out on the stage till 4 o'clock in the morning. And so she in the front row, tired, sleepy, and he got the nerve to put her out after she paid all that money. The whole Black American nation just turned on this Burna Boy. You can burn your ass back to Nigeria, homeboy. That's what you can do. Burn some gas, taking that flight back to Lagos. That's what you do. You see what I'm saying? That's what happens. You see? It's not because of cancel culture. It's because your credibility collapses. You don't have the right to speak negatively to our people. And see, here's the thing. This is why it was inevitable, and it's not political. See, this is not Democrats versus Republicans. It's not left versus right. This is bureaucracy catching up to reality. The government can't administer remedies and grants and protections without accurate categories. And once those categories exist, culture has to adjust. Paperwork always wins, family. And the reason this feels threatening to so many of these immigrants is simple. A lot of influence, money, and status was built on ambiguity. Ambiguity allowed moral authority without historical cost, representation without accountability, benefits without lineage. Delineation ends all that. And that's not out of spite, it's out of necessity. And let me be clear. This is not about punishing immigrants. It's not about exclusion. It's about ending substitution. Once the federal government distinguishes between Black Americans and Black immigrants, policy follows, funding follows, media narratives follows, and accountability follows. The era of we're all the same is over. Not because of hate, but because precision matters. So when people ask, why does this matter? This is why. Because when the forms change and the rules change, and when the rules change, the benefits change. And when the benefits change, the pretending stops. Delineation isn't coming. It's here. Okay? And the only remaining question is whether foundational Black Americans will use it strategically or let others use it against us. Now, I'm gonna get down and dirty for you. I got a little bit more to say. All right, but I need to talk to you all, okay? Because I know I got some big-hearted Black American people out here. Y'all gonna want to run and get off the fence, and you're gonna see Black folk out there catching hands. Gonna see a lot of immigrants out there catching hands, and I need you to understand it's time for Black Americans to sit down. It's time to stay rested. You'll have your turn to hit the field. We've been on the field for 406 years. We can chill, okay? Now, let me say something. I want to break something down to you. See, black people all around the world, Black Americans particularly, okay, in this country, Black people in general have always been the primary target of white supremacy racism. And this is not an opinion. This is a historical fact. This is, look at the history. Listen to our great and beautiful and brilliant Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And she explained this repeatedly in her lectures and writings. White supremacy is not random. It's not evenly distributed. It's structured, it's intentional, it's focused. And one of the only things that kept white supremacist racism partially in check in the United States is the reality, okay, that foreign Blacks have historically lived under the umbrella of the protection created by Black Americans. See, that protection was not symbolic. It damn sure wasn't rhetorical. It was built through blood, resistance, and demonstrated consequences. Black people and white people in the United States have a long mutual understanding. We understand that they will do foul shit when they believe they can get away with it. And they understand that Black Americans will bust their ass up and fight back, and that we will take life to protect ourselves and our freedom if pushed too goddamn far. That does not mean we don't get along, okay? It does not mean there's love or harmony, okay? But it does mean that there's an understanding. Can the church say understanding in the chat room, okay? What I'm saying is Black Americans and white Americans understand, if you bring, or Black Americans have helped white Americans understand, if you bring violence, exploitation, and domination, you should expect resistance, okay? In other words, in the name of a great American poet who's now anonymous, you got to bring some ass to get some ass, okay? You can go to your interpretation and run that back, and it'll explain exactly what that means. But if American history were taught honestly, there would be far fewer misunderstandings today. If people were taught about the numerous slave rebellions, the frequency of uprisings and the riots and the ass kickings that we delivered to random white boys, that very real willingness that Black people have to meet violence with violence in pursuit of justice, white people would not be so casual and reckless and arrogant online and in public discourse. The myth of Black passivity survives only because history has been deliberately sanitized. But now we need to talk about immigrants. Because see, the conditions have changed. And now that the historical protection created by that threat that Black Americans pose has been withdrawn. And now that these Black immigrants are being identified as distinct rather than interchangeable, you should expect them to be targeted directly by white racism. You should expect Black immigrant enclaves to be targeted, your little towns, your little Haiti town, your little Jamaica town, your little Nigeria, your little baby Accra. You should expect people with African origin last names to be targeted. You should expect accents that once seemed exotic or interesting to no longer work in your favor. But instead, it marks you as a subject of suspicion, hostility, and racism. That's not theoretical. See, when you're sitting at the local Denny's or ordering a cappuccino at Starbucks, understand that people who already don't like Black people will now see you as an easy target. And see, there's nothing white racists prefer more than an easy target. They disproportionately target women and children, specifically Black women and Black children, and Black men who are alone. Okay, and that's not paranoia. That's pattern recognition. And the circumstances of your existence here in the United States have changed significantly. And here's the part you need to remember. You, MF, was delineated first. Every time you wave your flag with a Nigerian student who was accepted to all the Ivy League universities, you delineated. Every time one of your favorite Jamaican track stars outran an American, you use that moment to credit instead of allowing it to belong to the Black diaspora, Black Americans collectively. At that point, you delineated. But see, you know when you didn't delineate? You didn't delineate when someone from your country committed a horrible crime that burdened and fell on the reputation of all Black Americans, did you? You didn't delineate when people from your country entered and jumped in and got on the welfare system. You said, oh, those Blacks on welfare, they're lazy. And it would come to find out it was you suckers that was on the welfare the whole time, just sucking up the whole thing. See, you didn't delineate when you imported your gender conflict and destabilized Black communities. You didn't delineate when your young people from your countries became involved in gang violence and street beefs. You didn't delineate when domestic violence and drug issues showed up in the Black neighborhoods when we didn't have issues like that before. All of that fell on the backs and the reputation of Black Americans. So now when Black Americans choose to delineate and say, we're not absorbing this anymore, now you angry? Not because delineation is wrong, but because it means we are no longer willing to be responsible for what we did not create. And that's the real issue. So let me say this plain and simple. You immigrants, y'all need to get ready to get your ass whooped by these white supremacists. They're going to tee off on y'all. Now, I am going to cut this thing short. I got a couple more things to say, but I want to acknowledge all the people. Have y'all enjoyed this broadcast? I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I had a good time up in here. I see you all are still here. We got 844 folks in here. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. I mean, you know, don't make me out here working for free like this. And if you learn something, I should earn something, man. If you learn something, I should earn something. Let me get out a shout out to everybody who helped me learn something, earn something. Shout out to Jeffrey Massey. Thank you so much for the $2. Solo Dolo, thank you for the $10. Feel this B1X, thank you for the $10. Il Jackson, thank you for the 247. I'm sorry, 247. Thank you for the 1999. April Thompson, 51. I went to school with a girl named April Thompson. I bet you talk a lot. I bet you do talk a lot. I can tell you talk a lot. I can see you probably be in the back. You got all the friends, you know, everybody business. Shout out to you, April Thompson. She got one of them little names and she know everybody in the school. Thank you so much, baby. Also, Crystal Watson for the $4.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. C Center Entertainment, thank you so much for the $5. He said, hey, is he saying the top 10% of FBAs will run circles, brothers, Spurling? So y'all agree? Yeah, I'm saying the top 10% of FBAs, we run circles around everybody. Shout out to Council 4560. Thank you so much. Penelope, my girl Penny Ford is back. Greetings from an FBA in Germany. You're cooking with fish grease tonight. Been saying this stuff from a global perspective. We finally got a great president. God bless America. Sang that song. I was singing. That's embarrassing. I need to cut that out. Shout out to new member Irvin 5686. Shout out to you. Shout out to Zuck KC. That sounds like a clear meaning of a parasite. He's talking about tether. I don't call them parasites, man. I'm just using the definition that I don't think it's derogatory. It's just an explanation. Now, akata is derogatory. Jareer is derogatory. Tether is not derogatory. It basically just explains people who tether themselves to the Black American experience. And as I said, not all immigrants are tethers. Okay, they mind their business, raise their families, and they don't badmouth us. Not all Black immigrants are tethers. Okay, that's not true. Okay, we're not gonna call all Black immigrants there's some down Black. I got some people right here that follow me right here. They 100% with it. They understand. Yeah, delineate. You know what I'm saying? We get that, but they're not disrespectful people. They wouldn't do. They're not over here talking bad about Black people or Black Americans. They're not over here saying we don't have culture. I'm cool with them. I think we all cool with them. You see what I mean? Anyway, thank you so much. Edward B. Cook II, keep doing your thing. Much love for you. Content, dedication. Thank you so much, family. Evan Richardson, uncut. Yeah, I was a little uncut tonight. I've been in rare form. Let me see here. There are 56 million Black South Africans with gross national income of 2.9 billion. FBA top 2 billionaires, Alex and Bob Smith with 31 billion, earn more than all the Black South. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, they're grasping for straws. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, brother. Jason Mitchell, thank you, brother, for a very informative, life-changing. Thank you, sir. We got 20 super chats. We doing great. It'll be great if we can get 25. Can we get 25 super chats? Give me 5 more. CJ Marsh for the 504. Thank you for the $1. All right, what's up, brother? Always good to see you. My ballistic sniper 8989 gift 1 Dennis Spurling podcast membership. Gifted 5 Dennis Spurling podcast. That's my girl Yaya Kid. Thank you so much for passing out those memberships. And who else? We got JD Lee 24. We're coming out strong 2026. We're now on code. Yeah, man, it is what it is. But look, we got 20 super chats. I got a little bit more to say. I did put the link in the chat room. Nobody wanted to come in, but it's all good. You know what I mean? I'll put it in for a minute. If we have some people who want to come in, maybe you disagree with what I'm saying. I haven't done this in a long time, but you will have to cam up if you want to talk, because we don't want any weirdos or strangers in here messing up the broadcast. All right. But yeah, y'all go ahead and chime in if you want to come in. That's the link to come in. I got a few minutes. I'll talk to a few people, and we'll keep it moving. Now, what I do want to say, let me find this first. Are you all familiar with what Elon Musk said? Because this is what Elon Musk said. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up, because white people got tethers too. Okay, white people got tethers too. All right, and you white folks need to get rid of your tethers. Okay, I know you guys might like his little cars. I ain't bought one of them ragged ass cars. It wouldn't be me. But this is what this fool said. Okay. All right. I want to share this with you all. Now, I'm not talking about white Americans. Okay? I want to be very specific. I'm talking about these white Europeans. They don't like you, and they don't like us. Elon Musk is at it again, okay? Just so you know, this is not me making this up. All right, and whatever you think about Elon Musk, like I said, this is what he put up. If white men become a minority, can y'all see that? Is that big enough for you to see? This is what this goofball said. If white men become a minority, we will be slaughtered. Shout out to TB Camden. He's a South African, okay? And his ancestors are from Europe, and his daddy's weird too. If white men become a minority, we will be slaughtered. Remember, if non-whites openly hate white men, while white men hold a collective majority, then they will be 1,000 times more hostile and cruel when they are the majority over whites, when white solidarity is the only way to, I guess, it cut off. But this is something this clown shared. All right. And let me explain something to you, Americans, to understand. Okay? Understand that. They don't like you. They don't want you in Europe. They think very little of it. And let me know if you guys can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Hit the number 1 button if you can hear me. I got to see if I can fix this real quick. Hold on a minute. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Let me know. Y'all can hear me clearly? Okay. Let me get this trash up out of here. This dude is hot garbage. All right? He is not your friend. I'm talking to the white Americans from America. I'm talking to the heritage white Americans. That's who I'm goddamn talking to right now. Okay, Elon Musk and all them weird European white folks are not your friends. White Americans need to understand something. You have tethers too. And some of them, like Elon Musk, are causing real trouble in our country with this reckless rhetoric. These are imported grievances. He's mad because the South Africans got his ass up, him and his family up out of it. That's why he's mad. Okay? That's why he's mad. That's not us. Okay? And this is another reason why we need to delineate. This old world instability is all dressed up as free speech or innovation. Let's talk some real history. Europe is one of the most violent regions in recorded human history. That's not rhetoric. That's documented. When you look at the historical record, Europe has experienced thousands of wars, civil conflicts, invasions, internal massacres over the last 5,000 years. From prehistoric death pits to the Roman conquest, to medieval religious wars, to colonial genocide, 2 world wars, to modern ethnic conflicts. Europe has been in a near constant state of bloodshed for thousands of years. If you look up Wikipedia and you just look at the thousands of wars and conflicts, I think it's 10,000 wars or something like that in Europe alone. These are not peaceful people. Okay? These are not peaceful societies that just went wrong in the 20th century. This is a long-standing pattern. Some of the greatest monsters the world has ever seen, whether we talk about Hitler, who slaughtered over 6 million, or is it 6 to 12 million, or 6 million Jewish people. King Leopold slaughtered millions of Africans, did horrible things. Stalin, this Russian prime minister or president, he made Hitler look like a schoolboy. All of this came directly out of Europe. And this is what they did to their own people, aside from King Leopold. From genocide to serfdom, where they literally enslaved their own people. Imperial extraction. Mass starvation, industrialized killing. These are not foreign concepts to these white European civilizations. This is part of the historical footprint. So let's be clear. Those, you white Americans, listen to me. Those are not your people. You're an American. You're not a European. White Americans, you don't need to be politically or culturally or emotionally tethered to those old world European elites who they don't share American values. They don't share an American struggle or American interests. Many of these people openly look down on Americans. They think Americans are backwards, unsophisticated, and stupid. Yet they are perfectly happy to use America when it's convenient to fight their wars, bankroll their ventures, or provide markets for their wealth. That is tether behavior, white people. And here's the uncomfortable truth that people don't want to say out loud. The white Americans and the black Americans have far more in common with each other than either group has with some foreign population who did not build this country. culturally, linguistically, religiously, and historically. Black and white Americans are both products of the same American soil. And I'll say it plainly. I have more in common with a right-leaning Republican redneck from West Texas who loves country, guns, and his family than I do some of these foreign black immigrants who don't share the same American history, our religion, our language, or our American culture, or our American political reality. And the reverse is also true. The average white American whose family has been here for generations has more in common with me than he does some European asshole who constantly injects chaos into the American discourse while having no real loyalty to this country. These people don't see America as home. They see it as a tool. So yes, white folks, you have some house cleaning to do your damn self. Just like black Americans are calling out tethers in our community, white Americans need to call out the tethers in yours, because imported instability from Europe, whether it comes wrapped in an African flag or has a European accent, eventually harms everyone who actually lives here. And in the words of the great thespian Samuel L. Jackson, y'all need to check these motherfuckers while we check ours. All right? Now, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to wrap up the primary part of the show. And I'm thinking maybe we have some people who want to come join me. I got a link up. We'll talk to one or two people. I'm looking for some critics. I want y'all to tell me where I'm wrong at. Okay, this is my interpretation. Shout out to everybody who contributed to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Brother, what's happening? Chris Barber, how you doing today? Brother, what would you like to add to this conversation that we having today?
I just wanted to say that I think it's a beautiful time that we're living in the delineation movement, because it's forced a lot of cards to the table. And I think that we've laid dormant for years as Black people, letting these other people speak up and speak for us. And we never really took accountability for our own actions, and not letting these foreigners and foreign disrespect come in and dilute the Black community. I know for years and years and years that many of us have sit back and was like, okay, Black is beautiful. I'm proud to be here. So we want to let everybody come in because we're a welcoming people. But I think we did that to our demise. And it's a beautiful thing to see that Black people are waking up. Me personally, I believe we're in the realm of revelations. It's not the Black Renaissance yet. First, we had to have revelations, because revelations means that we are starting to know the truth of our existence in these lands called America. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And I just love what you're doing, brother. Keep pressing on.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Shout out to Chris Baker. All right. So we only had one person who wanted to come in. Anybody else want to come in? I'm going to keep the lines open for a few more minutes. If you want to come in and say something intelligent or give me your feedback. Maybe there's some people who are critical of what I'm saying. I mean, it is what it is. But come on in. Let's have a conversation. And, if you want to, like I said, I'm not going to be here all night with this. But, the main thing is this, family. It's now hit the mainstream. You understand? It's now hit the mainstream, and I'm proud of my lineage. And let me hit something else. A lot of people like to call Black Americans slaves as if that's somehow an insult to us. I'm proud of what we had to go through and our ancestors came up out of. I'm very proud of it. You can't speak ill on Black Americans. We know who we are. We're proud of who we are. You calling us, telling us about our slave heritage it does nothing. It does. I don't see that as an insult. That makes me or helps me understand just how strong we are as people. In fact, and I often tell you guys about my own heritage. And if I can, I'm gonna pull this up real quick, just since we talking about heritage. You guys know that lady behind you is my grandmother right there. Her name is Elmira King, and her maiden name was Williams, and she was born in Casilla, Mississippi. That's my mama's mama. And her great grandfather, his name was G.W. Jones, and he was an attorney. Now, are you all, some of you all who've been with my page for a minute, you guys know this because I've told this story, and it's something I just found out about myself. But you know, George Washington Jones helped found the town of Nicodemus, Kansas. He was actually a lawyer. He went to Rusk College in Mississippi. And back then, you didn't need to go to law school. Basically, he just needed to study under a lawyer, which he did. And after studying under a lawyer, he became one of the most prolific, recognized, and brilliant lawyers in America. He had white clients. We talking about 1880. Okay, he died in the early 20th century, but this is my heritage. Nicodemus, Kansas. I have a great grandfather who was a black man who was a lawyer who was born into slavery and pulled himself up by the quote unquote bootstraps, right? And became one of the most recognized attorneys in America. I'm proud of that. And there's nothing you can do to make me not proud of my great granddad. I think there's a picture of him on the internet because this judge who's let me see if I can pull this up. And I don't see anybody else coming in, so I'm gonna pull this up. We're gonna get ease up out of here. G.W. Jones, attorney. Let me see here. Yep, that's him. Wow, that's crazy. So I don't know if what kind of page this is. It looks like some kind of, oh, that's my granddad. That's dope, man. Wow, that is amazing. Let me, so apparently he has, oh Lord, let me see. I'm trying to pull this thing up for you guys. I don't know what this is. It's called Everybody Wiki. I don't know what that is. It doesn't seem like Wikipedia, but let me see here. George Washington Jones Sr. So this is my great granddaddy right here. All right. Let me see if I can pull it up. That's him. That's him. Early life, education. Not much is known about Jones' past. According to various sources, he was born in March 9th, 1865 in Coffeyville, Mississippi. Went to Rusk College, which is a historically black college. Jones also practiced law in Mississippi, which at the time, not an option for many African Americans. So, you know, the brother, he was born in slavery family, and he became an attorney. Many of you all couldn't become an attorney. Right now, you have everything you need. So don't let them shame you about what we deal with. We are beautiful people. We are wonderful people. God loves us. That's why we're still here. And, be proud of the heritage, man. Look, but anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point. I love you all. Thank you all for being here. I've had a wonderful time. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to everybody on the replay. Okay. And it's not that I'm being negative with you immigrants. I'm just telling you how it is. I'm just giving you the play-by-play. I'm letting you know it is what it is. This is what you asked for. You wanted to delineate. You just didn't want the consequences of delineation. You just want the benefits of it. But now you want to smoke, and it is what it is, man. Shout out to all the beautiful people who contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Will you all please subscribe to my channel? I need to get to this 100,000. Uncle D need to get to this 100,000. All right, it's a lot of people on the internet. They got all these tactics and so all. Clearly, the algorithm does not like the things that I have to say. So y'all go ahead and hit Uncle D up, and let me get that 100,000 action. So I give me a little plaque on the wall. All right. But anyway, man, God bless y'all. I love you all. And as I always say at this time, I'm out. Boom.
in the Spurling podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.